Hi, chat. How are you doing? Well, yes, I titled this Fuddbusters for DEFCAD. I think that makes a little more attention-grabbing. But yes, this is the ongoing saga between Fuddbusters Matt LaRosiere and Cody Wilson from DEFCAD and all the other, shell corporations he's running, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, there are new updates, and Cody Wilson has hired an attorney. And if you guys heard the name David Gingras, if you've been following Legal Vices and Megan Fox about the Tonsil Twins, David Gingras is that David Gingras. Yes. The guy who blogs and spurgs out all the time. Yes. Cody hired an attorney, and apparently that attorney, he made the major mistake of hiring an attorney that's just like him, a complete lunatic. But they filed a counterclaim, and with us to talk about that counterclaim is the biggest proprietor of wind chimes in Central Florida, from maf-arms.com. Matt, how are you, sir?
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Not much. And before we get too far, yes, guys, and remember, if you want your chance to get some wind chimes, go to maf-arms.com and use a promo code POCRIM, and you will get 10% off. As a loyal lieutenant, he has given me this promo code.
Careful, you may wind up becoming a named defendant.
That's
as one of my top lieutenants.
Yes, I'll cite the case of Lamau versus Bruh as the response. But guys, POCRIM is the promo code there for your wind chimes and other needs, but wind chimes primarily. So how you doing, Matt? It's been a little while.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute, man. I hope you're doing good.
I'm doing all right. How did any updates on the bar stuff?
Oh, the bar complaint?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the bar reviewed it and they determined they sent a pretty forcefully worded, basically closing letter.
Nice.
Here, I can send it to you right now.
Okay. Well, and I will tell you, it's funny because Cody, when I had somebody do a clipping of it for me, because obviously we went on tangents as we kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
She condensed it down, and he, even though these are available documents, he had that video taken down because it was revealing personal information.
Well, the resolution letter definitely doesn't.
Okay, well there we go. Well,
yeah.
no, it's got some, so I think that's he'll cry about this. You
want me to black out the?
I'll take care of it.
All right.
Yeah, I can. Do you have a better resolution than?
No, I don't.
Oh. Okay. All right. I guess I'll make this.
Also,
work.
You should switch us around. It's driving me nuts that you're looking vaguely to the left and I'm looking vaguely to the right. We're both looking off screen.
All right. Here we go. Hold on. All right. Let's go like this. There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
Now
I was having a minor attack.
There you go. All right. There we go. The tism never stops, Chad. It never sleeps. It never sleeps. All right. So here we go. And we'll share this now. I've blocked some things out. Cody, I hope that's good enough.
What, his UPS store address? Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I left it alone. His tampons got soggy, so I don't want him to run out. They're not cheap. Okay.
But wait, he had somebody reviewing the bar complaint. He had their video taken down.
Yeah, mine.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. So
that doesn't make sense. Whatever.
I'm sure he'll get mad. You put my name out there. Anyway, let's get to this real quick. So, dear Mr. Wilson, all correspondence has been carefully reviewed. Mr. Zerme, and that's who responded for you, submitted a response on behalf of Mr. LaRosiere. Based on the submitted documentation, Matt did not engage in unethical conduct regarding a personal matter that involves the downloading of a file from a website. And in Matt's work file, there is no language that solicits prospective clients for legal representation. The language he used does not state that he's offering legal services to anyone. Instead, as a copyright holder, he may ascertain whether or not a person was charged to download his copyrighted file. In other words, there's no advertisement for legal services contained in the work. When the Florida bar initiates disciplinary action against one of its members, it does so by first obtaining a probable cause determination by the grievance committee, following which a formal complaint is filed with the Florida Supreme Court and served upon the respondent lawyer. In this case, you, Matt.
That's me.
What's that?
Me. That's me.
Yes, moi. A referee or a judge is appointed by the court to try the case and report to the court with recommendations as to whether or not the respondent lawyer violated one of the more of the rules regulating the Florida bar. And if so, the nature that should be the discipline should be imposed. The bar's role is similar to a prosecutor. The court then adopts the motions and recommendations. And it's, as you can see from the foregoing description. Okay, I already like how this is going. Bar analyze the complaint and supporting evidence from the standpoint of whether or not, as a prosecuting agency, the case stands a reasonable chance of being won. One of the considerations is deciding whether to close a file or proceed to seek further measures is the weight of available evidence. If the bar seeks to discipline the lawyer, they must have clear and convincing evidence that there's been a violation of one or more of the rules. And guys, clear and convincing is like 2/3 sure. It's like 60% sure.
Yeah.
A little barren preponderance. Clear and convincing evidence, has been defined as evidence so clear, direct, and weighty as convincing as to enable the fact finder to come to a clear conviction without hesitancy the truth of the precise facts at issue. The burden of proof is heavier than the burden of proof required in a normal civil trial. There's insufficient evidence from the materials provided that Matt violated any rules which govern attorney discipline. Accordingly, continued proceedings of this matter are inappropriate and our file's been closed effective October 1st. Pursuant to the record retention schedule, the computer record and file will be disposed of 1 year from the date of closing. And then obviously they signed off.
Right.
That's very funny. That was very nice. They were very nice about it, though.
Yeah, they were pretty cool about it.
Well, no, the way they explained it to Cody, it's very nice. But I mean, really, all they just did was they just told him, he's got nothing.
Yeah.
He's got nothing at all. There he is.
But yeah,
because you got nothing. You got nothing in court. You don't got the bookkeeper. You got nothing. Nothing. And if you were a man, you would have done it now.
Cody's not a man, so that won't work for him.
Yeah, and this is after he had sent the Florida bar a bunch of screenshots from my Discord because and
he did.
Well, yeah, no, you didn't see it here.
He's like a supplemental information.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh my god, no, I didn't know about this.
Oh, bro, it's really something. So yeah, that was his. You saw the response, right? The response where we're like, this obviously isn't what that is. This obviously has nothing to do with the practice of law. Because for your context, chat, this guy, he stole my work, right? Puts it up behind a bay wall, and I'm like, I don't want to be associated with you. Please take it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pretends to be like a downloader, right? Sends me an email, to which point I'm like very aware it's him. And I'm like, oh, yes, full disclosure, I'm contemplating suing Cody Wilson. And so then he does a very rational thing and files a complaint to the Florida bar after saying that I was violating attorney advertising rules in a instructional text for putting together a gun that doesn't even mention that I'm an attorney. And so, like, in our response, we said, well, there's two ways this can't violate the attorney advertising rules. One, the rules prohibit direct contact with, prospective clients when your primary interest is in making money, right? So there's two things. One, that person reached out to me. Two, there was no prospective client. There was only him, right? And so his grand rebuttal to that was, no, Mr. LaRosiere is much more... is much less polite when he believes he's talking to me or one of my employees. And then he provides a bunch of screenshots from when he did send one of his employees into my private Discord. We sussed him out within 30 seconds, locked him in rat prison, and then a bunch of people made fun of him. And so he was like,
Yes.
this, this was framed somehow as barratry or whatever. It's all very clearly, when you look at the way he writes, it's like, you might think, what the hell is wrong with this person? And then you realize he, dropped out of law school.
Yes, he did go to law school for a little bit.
Yeah, so it is very clear that he is somebody who fancies himself legally sophisticated. And so he writes like somebody at the tippy top of the legal Dunning-Kruger curve.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes,
but
he's like, this is how lawyers write, because I know.
Yeah. So you've got his rebuttal there. I don't know. It's pretty hilarious. I just like the screenshots most.
And I think we covered this, but we'll go through the screenshots again. And guys, if you don't remember, Matt helped put together the 3D printed file for the Hitchhiker. That's the Takedown 22. That is, I wish we could show it, but we can't because I've got one sitting right next to me that I partially got completed. But it's
sent
really
you the missing stuff.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's like I'm like I could feel it. It's almost there. Hopefully I can get it put together for Thanksgiving and go shoot it. But he also did things for like the Amigo Grande.
Right.
And then there's the that's the G3 printed out thing. And it basically it's a G3. Actually, I have a question. With the Amigo Grande, because it's a G3, how do you guys get around the full auto issue? Do you are the weldments printed into it or what?
So the receiver won't accept. So the way the receiver is shaped, it won't accept the auto parts.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes
it's just like the steel ones, right? Where there's geometry inside the receiver that prevents them from coming in.
Well, I thought it was with the G3. You have to actually weld in like the blocks for it inside.
So the way they do it on the G3, well, the way most companies do it is instead of drilling the hole for the front hole for the trigger pack, they put in a little shelf and then they make a corresponding cut in the lower. So our lower, it's kind of similar. You basically, the way the receiver is shaped, it won't accept an unmodified lower. Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because I was thinking that'd be a fun one to try to print at some point, and I was just like, well, wait, how do you get out on the full auto issue? I'm assuming you guys did. I just didn't know how.
It's all in the documentation.
Okay. I'll look for it. But they also did the what do you call the SP5? What do you call it?
The Schlenkflugelmann and the Kleinefreund.
Yes.
Yeah. I did a lot of stuff. And
a bunch of 3D printed gun files.
Yeah.
Chat.
Yeah. And it's this guy. It really doesn't make sense that he was being so aggressively antagonistic while copying. And there's a lot of. He has some really interesting ideas about how copyrights work, and I don't think it's going to carry the day for him. But so what have you got up now? This is his grand rebuttal. Yeah, you're down to the exhibits of the grand rebuttal. So yeah, and look at the channel that we're in. This was sent to the Florida bar, and they were not impressed by it. And you're muted, by the way, Sean.
Yep, here you go. Yes, this is the. Well, I just mean because I wanted to let you talk about it too while you're there. But yes, we're in Wiggertown.
Yeah, in the illustrious, this is obviously fundamentally serious. This is the illustrious Wiggertown of Rat City.
But hey, we're allowed to use that word.
But also I noticed that he counts multiple people as being me here, alludes that multiple people are me.
Yes. So Matt LaRossi clone is you, apparently.
Yeah, allegedly. It is not,
and everybody's pinging him. Yes, everybody's pinging him.
And you see the name he was set to works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Yes, he got changed to that. Yes, and then a lot of people are here. Yes, and then I love this part. Just harassment. I got harassed. I got their private place, and they harassed me.
Yeah, no, but I think when they say harassment of my employee, and when we're trying to avoid, when we're trying to say, oh no, this totally isn't alter ego. I do love the use of the my language there.
Johnny says, I was there. I had lots of fun. Yes. And guys, I will say Matt's Discord is very good at sniffing out glowies and other sus people. So, but yes, also idiots.
But yeah, the number 12 is a really good one.
Yes.
That was me.
And Ivan's like, he's the guest of honor. His truth gap is true Aryan genes on display.
Yeah, no, my response to that, I think, is solid. If you can read, I can't really see it that well.
Yes. So all those millions and he can't fix a tooth gap. He says, are dentists more expensive in Texas than in America? and then I'm curious, your boss is such a wigneck conservative Aryan icon. How come he's unmarried with no children? Isn't that against the philosophy of the Labor's born? It's the Untermensch moment.
He's trying to... his favorite gay French philosopher.
Yeah. And yes, this was Cody back in the day when he was like the Chad of like the 3D gun movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Liberator, like he was a big deal.
Kind of.
Yeah, he was kind of a big deal, and then and then he got in trouble. And yeah, I look Nordic as fuck. Pure island ethnicity. Oh God. Yes, and these are just good. These are just good.
My face when I ponder the age of consent, and we have a vintage. Yeah.
Yes, and this is there's no like I could never do one of these pictures of myself where it's like that, or like like people have their books when they've written a book and they're like this. Yeah. There's no way I could do any of that.
Yeah, I know, it's just terrible.
Yes. Yes, he says my face when I realize that Lolly is not embraced by all Asians. Yes, they're harassing me. But I always I don't think I mentioned this before. How are they harassing your employee by making fun of you? Like they're pointing out that your boss has an issue with the age of consent. How is that harassing your employee? You're slipping there, Cody.
Yeah, it's
And then this is here. You went and found him, and this is on Reddit, which I'm brave of you to go on Reddit. Also an attorney here. I like to add the following: Rolf and Lamau. Oh, yes, and your public attorney persona.
Yeah.
Yes, a dog with a Fudd hat. Yes, that's it. A dude
That's
stalker
me.
cap. Yes,
Yep.
That's you. Yes, I see. It's like the little kid books. I see me. And there you are again.
Yeah.
And he just keeps on crying, and he keeps on trying. And well, chat, there you go. That's what the hitchhiker looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's supposed to look like, at least. And you don't have to pay for it. And yes, he's using the trap card.
Yeah. And then look, he says that this is baiting.
Yes.
Like public baiting before this complaint.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, none of it makes any sense.
You're allowed to tell somebody, hey, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
So
it's all fine. It's whatever. But the thing that's kind of odd is the counterclaim, right?
Yes. So you filed your complaints under the Lanham Act in federal court, and Cody has hired an attorney named David Gingras. And for those of you guys, like I said, if you know about the Tonsil Twins from Legal Vices or Megan Fox, this is that same attorney. This guy is a nutbag. He's a real nutter. This guy's crazy.
So when I read these filings, I talked to one of our friends, Runkle, and I was like, this has to be that, Cody wrote this himself and demanded they file it. And Runkle tells me, no, Runkle says this is and I don't know, right? But Runkle was telling me that apparently this writing style is Gingras.
Yeah, he's this crazy.
It is indistinguishable from pro se writing. Completely indistinguishable.
Yes.
And they tilt their hand a few times. They also make a couple very hilarious tactical and strategic errors.
Well, we're gonna get to those. They're good. Brittany says, "What's the Ludlam Act?" No, the Lanham Act. Lanham. Lanham Act. The
Lanham Act is go on.
Copyright statutes.
Yep.
So the Lanham Act is the copyright statute. So it's the Copyright Act. It was proposed, I think, by Senator Lanham or something like that. But it's Lanham.
Yeah.
And then Jim is saying Fuddbusters is the future head of the DOJ Civil Rights Division.
That would be funny.
Oh, I think it'd be great. Abel says, "How friendly is a hitchhiker for California?" I don't think you could 3D print guns in California, can you?
You can, but there's a very hilariously Byzantine process.
Mm-hmm.
So it being single shot, it's as friendly as it could possibly be.
Abel, I would recommend you just check out the process of California, because make sure you do it carefully. But yes, I do think it is California legal. Apparently, if you could print a 3D gun, I thought there were rules against that.
Yeah, I think there's a bizarre process, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Reno May has videos on doing that.
Oh yeah, he lives in California, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a nice man. I like him.
All right, guys. So we're gonna get started on this here, and okay, let's see. Did I get everything I wanted to get to? Yes.
So as we're reading this, you just have to remember this is in the Middle District of Florida, which is under the 11th Circuit. And there's rules. So Rule 8 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure say that your complaint must be a short and plain statement of the facts that entitle you to relief. And in most courts, they just kind of ignore that rule. The 11th Circuit is not like that. They will dismiss a complaint solely for it including too much detail, even if it's relevant. I'm not going to say that this has too much relevant detail, because it does not. It is, in fact, almost definitionally a shotgun pleading. The primary complaint in this action was 52 pages. The counterclaim is 109.
Yes. Yes. That's a lot, chat. That's a lot.
Manic. And he is basically, this is a strike suit, which is it's a lawsuit that is objectively frivolous, and it's brought for the purpose of basically scaring you out of the underlying litigation. And that's not going to work for them.
No.
Yeah. So, and they've brought in as counter defendants basically a bunch of my personal friends.
Yes.
And it's just very interesting the way that they've alleged the nexus here. And you can probably guess how this goes, right? Because Sean, what do you always tell your audience about what claim is it not?
Yes, guys, you're gonna get shocker because it's gonna sound like pro se. There's a RICO claim here, and remember, chat, RICO is never the answer. RICO is never the answer here.
Yeah.
If you're doing RICO, you're already fucked up.
Yeah, it's fundamentally unserious.
Yes, RICO is never the answer. Even in criminal settings, RICO is usually not the answer. Let me see. Hold on one second. This is not shower text, chat. Don't worry. This is from a friend. So my friend is telling me the complaint against a bunch of states filed against Meta is 271 pages long. But that makes sense. You're going after Facebook. You're going after a multinational corporation. There's so
and in those you might have 21 causes of action.
Yeah, and there might be 15 states filing it. Yes, you can have a big complaint, but when it's two guys on the internet, 109 pages, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
David, honey, I'm here to let me help you. Let me help you with this. But anyways, here we go. So it's Matt versus Cody Rutledge Wilson. DEFCAD, defense distributed in Dioscuri. It's just weird.
Yep.
Whatever. And then it says, and then here's the counterclaim. Defense Distributed, it's a reverso. He throws down the reverse card and goes, no, you. Against the catalog.
Right.
But is the catalog an LLC?
No, it doesn't exist.
So this is like fucking you're suing a non-entity.
It does not exist.
That's so retarded.
Yes.
Matthew Rossier, John Ellick, Alexander Holiday, Peter Celentano, which I think since this part got filed and yeah, that kind of sheds a lot of light on what happened to him. I think a little. Just I'm just saying that somebody fucking snitched somebody out to the government, and I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. We should probably leave it at that for now, right? I mean, are we gonna say somebody was being a little bitch and was a chatty Cathy to the government about somebody doing 3D printed shit in the state of New York? I mean, like Cody probably did. So sorry.
I think it's really. I don't know, if that's the case. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you could possibly think you're taking the high ground. That's just really, it's really fucked up. It is. And we'll find out in time. But I think that did you see the blog post he did after this?
No, not
so
yet.
Right after this was filed, he did a blog post, which. He fancies himself a wordsmith, and he's usually very bad at it. But I was actually kind of frustrated because the title of this blog post was actually one of the only clever things he's ever done. So after we're done getting through this, we'll definitely have to take a look at that.
Yes. And then Josh Kyle Stroke, John Letterman, the Catalog Foundation, which, again, I don't think is an organized entity.
The Catalog Foundation is a nonprofit that I started because we were going to start a magazine and it never happened. The entity has no assets and has never done anything. It was literally, we were planning on making a print magazine and it didn't happen. And so, but he believes that this, as you'll see, he believes that there's this grand thing happening.
Yes. And he's going to say, we know about shell companies and sheltering assets because my client does it.
Right.
And then MAF Corporation. Yes. Oh, the premier wind chime distributor.
Yeah.
Counterclaims and an answer. Remember, chat, they can file a counterclaim. And yes, the summaries, the parties. We're going to go through all of this, chat. I don't know how much we're going to get through before we'll jump off a building, but we will go through this. But I mean, look at this. Look how far.
None of this is relevant to any claim.
Yeah. Like Everytown USA is now in like.
Yeah.
Like Gabby Giffords comes out of there and goes, potato. You're going to be blamed for that now at this point. Yes. Civil conspiracy. RICO.
Yeah.
Wire fraud. Extortion, money laundering, obstructing justice. Oh, Nick's favorite thing, the Computer Fraud Abuse Act.
Threat of murder.
Katie can talk. The threat of murder.
Which is not a predicate act to RICO, by the way.
No, you actually have to murder somebody.
Yeah.
The Lanham Act. Also, whoever's asking before, this is how the Lanham Act. Counterclaim 3. The Fraud and Abuse Act, the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, tortious interference, trade libel, Florida's FUPA statute, and spoliation.
Yeah.
The prayer for relief.
And I don't think spoliation is a cause of action.
I don't think that's a tort.
Yeah, so
like that is a.
And you can see that's a one-page counterclaim. So
but I'm just I haven't even got to that, but I was just thinking like spoliation is what you would argue they've destroyed evidence. That's an argument to why like you could sanction a party or preclude them from making claims. You don't get to say like, well, you just like if they were going to say you destroyed something, it'd be conversion or whatever you call it in Florida.
Right.
Anyway, so there's admissions, defenses, attorney's fees and costs, and a prayer for relief, and then their answer. So the counterclaims are against the catalog, which doesn't exist. Matt, John, Alex, Peter, Josh, John, the foundation, and MAF Corp. So Defense Distributed exists to promote and expand the Second Amendment's individual right to keep and bear arms, both functionally and legally. I might press X to down on that one just a little bit. I'm just saying a little bit here. Now,
so basically, this is what he gets into. This is where he reveals his insane misunderstanding of how EAR works.
And guys, so chat, I know some of you have to understand what this is. You're going to learn about, if you guys have heard me talk about it before, ITAR. I've never talked a lot about EAR, but they are two things that are very big deals that you cannot fuck around with. And they are governed through the Department of Commerce. These are very serious things, and we're going to learn somebody may have done an oopsie by admitting to things in here. But we're going to get started. So the federal government does regulate this industry very severely. Firearms are heavily regulated.
Right.
There is the EAR regime, and it's the Export Administration Regulations administered by the Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security, pursuant to the Arms Export Control Act of 1976. And also the Code of Federal Regulations. Remember, chat, we talked about this. There's a law that gets passed, and then the Department of Commerce has to figure out how to implement it. So they put out federal regulations. So this is where you see the CFR is the list of federal regulations. The ATF has its own CFR that it spits crap out in. Every federal agency does.
Right. Well, so just to get to the, and immediately right here, he's going to start misrepresenting what the law is.
Mm-hmm.
So Cody... So there was a point, right, where back when they first had litigation with DOJ and the State Department,
and you were trying back to saying this is when Cody had the Liberator and all that stuff out when it first came out.
They were trying to say that any files for any normal regular gun was ITAR regulated, right? And they were battling back and forth about this, and they really firmly made the assertion that any machine files or computer software for the creation of firearms was ITAR. And so that's why they started basically having their system where you have to pay in money and give your social security number and everything to be able to download a file.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where, that regime started.
Mm-hmm.
But that only lasted for a matter of months. They amended it and completely removed non-automatic and semi-automatic firearms from ITAR and all of the relevant technical data.
Yes. And guys, we're talking about ITAR, which is different from EAR.
Yeah.
ITAR is
all of that stuff got moved to the EAR, all of the semi-automatic and non-automatic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But guys, ITAR is the International Trafficking in Arms Regulation, okay? Yeah. ITAR is actually a very dangerous thing if you're not paying attention. So, for example, people who are sending equipment to Ukraine, it governs body armor, night vision goggles, a Kevlar helmet. Things you might not think are that. Certain types of combat medical equipment are governed by that. Weapon, military goods are governed under that. And violating ITAR is a big deal. You can get really bent over a barrel for it. And violating EAR, you can get bent over a barrel for as well. But yes, in the beginning, Cody had issues with the State Department. Mm-hmm. And eventually things got resolved.
They settled.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff got removed from ITAR, pushed over to BIS, right? Mm-hmm. And they are much more reasonable than the State Department. They want US businesses to be able to do whatever they got to do. And so when it came down to the files, the digital files, they said, and I'm really condensing it here.
Yes.
They said basically, so files are still regulated. If they're for automatic weapons or, heavy artillery and shit, that's still ITAR. If it's not anything related to non-automatic and semi-automatic, EAR. EAR says it is not regulated if it is published, right?
Yes.
And published it's not the same as public domain was under ITAR. It has its own meaning, and that is anything that was available through, openly distributed without further restriction. And they specifically said that intellectual property is not that further restriction. The only things that were regulated under EAR that have to do with non-automatic and semi-automatic firearms are things that are ready for insertion into a manufacturing machine. It doesn't say readily insertable, it says ready for insertion. So the way we can understand that is stuff like G-code files, right? Where it's for a CNC machine. You put this in the CNC machine, you hit the button, and it starts making the part.
Yes.
Well, none of us do anything with that, right? And I think some of his confusion comes from the fact that he wrote a letter to I forgot which department years back, asking, tell us what file types are regulated and not regulated. And they came back and said, no, we're not doing that. It says ready for insertion. We don't care what file type is it. If it's ready to be inserted into a CNC machine, it's ready for insertion. If it's not, it's not. And so he takes this as, oh no, I'm the only legal way anyone can download files, right? Because naturally. And this is like, it's a reading that is not consistent with the law or regulations. The only reason he embraces this reading is because his business model depends on it, at least in my opinion. That's what I think.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, Chad, it's not just 3D printed files. So like you can download the files to do an AR-15 lower out of a block of aluminum.
Right.
Like it covers all kinds of things. So it's not just 3D printed stuff. There's all kinds of stuff you can download. And yeah, that's the issue we're at right now is this is a misstatement of the law. And getting back to this here.
Well, it's their predicate to the RICO too, because they're saying, and one, none of the people that he's listed there do distribution of the file. So that's funny.
Yes. But yeah, they talk about ready for insertion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they talk about G-code. We're going to get back to the G-code in a minute because once, like you said, they kind of step on their dicks here and they probably don't realize what they did.
Yeah, so yeah, in essence, this EAR regime makes the unrestricted online publications of such files highly illegal.
Yes. And the idea that because you're paying for it doesn't, the idea that I paid shekels for this does not give it any more legitimacy. That would be insane. No. Look, these, the cheese pizza is legitimate. I paid for it. It's like that's basically the argument they're making. Well, you paid for it, therefore it's okay. That would be stupid. I pay for drugs. That doesn't make them legal or, less illegal. No, they're still illegal. Defense Distributed does not want to comply with EAR restrictions. Which, okay. And they say on the contrary, Defense Distributed has for most of existence been actively litigating the EAR and regimes like it held unconstitutional. Okay. But until these challenges succeed, Defense Distributed has no choice but to comply with the law. Okay, yes, so you're doing what you're told, which it doesn't matter at that point.
And not an inch more.
Yes.
Like, no, his interpretation is insane.
Yeah.
It is not sane. It is the only backing for his interpretation is this is the only way I can claim that I'm the only way.
Yes, and if anybody else tried to jump onto the scene and set up their own paywalls, he would go after them as well. And he would he's trying to corner the market here.
Right.
Which is insane.
Well, remember, we're not trying to compete with him in this way.
You're sharing knowledge.
I just don't want him to sell my work.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I wanted to start my own competitor, he would be coming after me in every 6 ways for Sunday, even if I charged a paywall for all the 3D stuff. He would be coming after me. So this is not, he's hiding his greed behind the print. He's hiding his greed behind the supposed principles that he has.
Right. So this is where he's saying Defense Distributed bites the bullet to maintain the United States only legal web portal, search engine, and development hub for regulated digital firearms and information. I mean, Sean, check me here. Is there any way that a 3D model of a non-automatic or semi-automatic firearm that is, published is problematic? I don't see it. It's not on the ITAR, and it's exempt from the EAR.
Yeah, and guys, there's an ITAR. There's a whole list of things that are listed in ITAR.
Right.
Like, there's an entire list, and it's a very extensive. It's a long list of things, and I love when he talks about something like, because I remember Weaponeer is still out. I think that's still up, isn't it?
Weaponeer.net.
Weaponeer.net. It was like a place where you could get all these things, and like it was a lot of guys like doing their machining, but making.
Oh yeah, no, that's Weapons Guild. Yeah, no, and they've got
Weapons Guild,
blueprints.
yeah.
They've got STL. Like, they've got all this stuff.
There's all kinds of places that do.
But
this.
also,
Like,
guys,
yeah,
look up patents.
yeah.
Like this theory is not sane. It is not.
Yeah,
sane.
I could get the technical data package from Cold. That's now public knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, that's been released because they were forced to. But the technical data package for an M4, that's out there. That's available. Like, there's all kinds of stuff out there.
Right.
And they say, yes, the catalog is a criminal enterprise. You should almost respond to, like, is it because you're saying we use the word gat? Are you racist? Yes, the catalog.
You know what this made me think? You know what would be a cool name
What?
for a company? Criminal Enterprises.
That's almost like out of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Criminal Enterprises and ne'er-do-well industries. Okay, so yes, the catalog chat. We got to read it. The catalog is a criminal enterprise organized and expressed opposition to this. It profits by dealing illegally in the same digital firearms information that Defense Distributed handles legally. Led by a disgruntled former employee. And
None of those
opponents
people were
Defense
employees, by the way.
Distributed. What's that?
Not a single person that he's listed ever worked for him.
Led by it. Well, you're the leader of it. You never worked for him.
No, I'm fucking not. I am not the leader.
You're the leader. You're the front man. You're mad.
Oh yeah, no, he did. Yeah, he did previously say that it was owned and operated by me.
Yeah,
and
that's
now.
fine.
Yeah, now after this, he changed his website to say it's owned and operated by me and Ivan.
Oh. But
Yeah.
yeah, the whole time before this, he was arguing like you're the bad man.
Right.
Okay. The catalog publishes files governed by the EAR and a similar State Department regime, the ITAR. I love it when he said that. The ITAR, meaning, oh, you mean this ITAR versus that ITAR?
Yeah, no, that one.
There's only one ITAR.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys, and he smokes the weed. By giving anyone in the world unlimited access, an obvious violation of the federal regime courts uphold.
I do not smoke the weed, by the way.
Yes.
Or he claims that.
Yes. The catalog enterprise is a black market operator in the worst sense. Yes, that other, it's an Odyssey, the Silk Road substitute. I'm surprised. I didn't see that anywhere here. I'm surprised he didn't do that. I was waiting for Odyssey to pop in here somehow and try to weave that thread. Now he's probably watching this. He'll file supplemental and amend his answer.
Well, he's going to have to, because this is going to be dismissed as a shotgun pleading.
Yeah.
So.
Well, achieving its illegal ends with dangerously illegal means of criminal wire fraud. Is there non-criminal wire fraud?
I guess if the government's doing it.
Well, yes, if you're wiring money to the Contras, yes.
Yeah.
But dangerously illegal. Is there safely illegal things to do? But yes, there's non-criminal wire fraud. I did a video a couple months ago about the guy who was showing up about people how to like clone the chips in like bank cards, and they were it was how they do wire fraud, and it was like you hit up the money and you get it at the bank and then you take it all out right away. It was actually pretty funny.
Oh, you did.
Punch Made Dev. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Yeah, so there's money laundering, extortion, and even threatened murder. You know, in this way, the catalog's disgruntled principals are stealing business from Defense Distributed, the only firm serious enough to do the work legally, and distorting an otherwise thriving and compliant market.
Compliance market.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's what it should be, compliant.
Yeah. No, but a compliance market. This thing is rife with typos. Like on the first page, there was one.
There's a couple of them, but I've gotten to the point I've read so many shitty legal docs, I just kind of like correct it as I read.
Yeah.
To further injure Defense Distributed, the members have acted in concert to destroy Cody's market reputation by spreading false defamatory rumors that the website DEFCAD has been hacked and is in league with federal government officials. Well, I mean, You wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't be the first snitch out there. I'm just saying. The catalog also tortiously interfered with Defense Distributed's business relationships by harassing, threatening, and lying to its customers and partners.
And do you love that that's all in one numbered allegation?
Yes.
How the fuck do you respond to that? You can't.
Yeah, like without like we there's no way, and that's a thing you could do, chat. You're like, you have to deny the whole thing. Sorry, denied, because it's not wrong to say this entire thing denied. Now, if they broke it up, you might have to respond to it properly, but you could say denied when it's
the real thing is to say that you cannot reasonably be required to respond to these allegations. Like,
yes. Past financial harms are substantial and many are irreparable. You mean aren't recoverable? Yes. Lost profits will soon cross from high six figures into millions. You're gonna have to open your fucking books for that one, there, Cody. Have fun opening them fucking books, son. I saw that. I'm like, I want to see those books. Discovery is gonna be a hoot if this survives. Intangible losses like damaged reputation are of highly equal value. Those are going to be fun depositions too. Did you?
Right.
What's your reputation of Cody? Oh, I think he's the best man ever. It's like, okay, really?
Right.
Do you know about this?
Right.
Oh yeah, and because this illegal enterprise goes unabated, irreparable harms continue to mount every day. You know, it's the funny thing is, like, has Cody gone to the feds to cry about you yet? It's like, it's kind of weird. You're only going after him civilly, Cody.
Well, the problem is that I'm not breaking the law.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's the point. Like, all you're doing is suing. Why aren't you? Did you file anything with did you go to the ATF? Did you go to the Department of Commerce?
Like, hey, this guy, he's following the law.
It's difficult enough already for Defense Distributed to do the right thing. That's never a good comment when you're like, it's really hard for us to comply with this law. We could easily start breaking it.
Yep.
You don't really ever want to admit that in a document, guys. And lead the industry by following existing law until reform is achieved the right way. For the catalog to undercut all of that with the wrongdoing at issue here is not just economically foolish and legally criminal. It is a massively counterproductive disservice to the community they purport to serve.
And just remember, every time he says the catalog, it's an imaginary friend.
Yes.
It doesn't exist.
Yes. And for you guys out there, this is like when Russell Greer he sued Null, Josh Moon. And he also said Kiwi Farms, a website. He sued Kiwi Farms, a website. And eventually, finally the court, it got substituted in. They're like, yeah, you can't sue a fucking website, you retard. So we're just putting the proper organization.
Right.
Yes. HIV 1. No, apparently because Cody's still here. No. Cody, Matt is suing Cody for copyright infringement, and then Cody is being a vexatious litigant. So
yeah, he came back with a fucking 109-page counterclaim alleging RICO as the first cause of action, which is ballsy.
It's strong. It's a strong play.
Yeah, it's a bold move. Let's see how it plays out.
Yes.
But I just to kind of even skip a little bit.
Yeah.
How is this going to look to a federal judge?
Oh, this already
in the 11th Circuit.
Yeah, I mean, chat, you guys you haven't read this yet. You're like, this is what it's like when Spurgs collide. Kind of.
Well, but our complaint was very straightforward.
Yes, very good. Well, I know, but we're all a little spurgy here. But yes,
right,
you
but ours was
wholesome.
Just straight to the point.
Yeah.
Here's the works. Here's the copying. Here, right?
Yeah.
And so it's simple, straightforward copyright suit.
Yes.
And then this is the counterclaim.
Yes.
To the bench. What are you doing optically?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I just wanted to get to this last part here. This is just great. Yes. No one, and it's like, how do you respond to this one? This is all just editorialization.
Yeah.
No one knows for sure what the catalog's next worst illegal deed will be.
Next worst.
Yeah. How do you know it's going to be the worst? Maybe it won't be a big one. Maybe the catalog just won't rewind tapes when they return them. I don't know. Maybe it will be another illegal export of federally controlled firearms technical data to a foreign adversary. We'll get to why that might, that probably wasn't the smartest thing to talk about here. Maybe it'll be more threats of violence and murder. Hence, this action's counterclaims which seek not just to compensate defense distributed for all the catalog's past harms. Remember, this is an imaginary thing. This is a ghost. Or as
is
Nick
the
would say,
catalog in the room with you right now?
it's a specter, chat. It's a specter. But to put a definitive end to this illegal racketeering enterprise for good. All right, so we're gonna skip the parties because we know we know the people here. The catalog. The catalog's an unincorporated association. It's literally nothing. It's not even an association. It's a website.
Yeah, its principal base of business is Florida. How?
Yeah, it
and where it can be reached for service of process. Where?
Yeah. Okay, fine. Serve it. Serve it. You haven't served the catalog.
Where is it in Florida?
Yeah. Where's the address? Who's the agent for it?
Yeah.
Have fun serving it.
Yeah.
They do mention Odyssey, but they don't bring up anything more about it. The members associate for the purpose of opposing DEFCAD by commercially developing and publishing 3D printable and other CAD models regarding firearms without restriction on Odyssey and other channels. Okay. The catalog maintains a website, thecatalog.com, and that is a good place you can go. The catalog constitutes an enterprise as defined under the RICO statute, where it's any individual, partnership, corporation, association, or other legal entity.
Okay, so before in violation of 17 CFR 734-7C, why don't you pull that up real quick?
Okay. All right. I did before when I was 734. Yeah, here we go. All right.
I'll read it. So this is what they're saying is being violated through, and they're not saying what files are published, mind, but the following. So C says the following remains subject to the EAR. So everything but this is not subject.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to see which.
Do you need a link?
No. Sorry, I didn't see which 734 points.
You're in the wrong.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, published.
Yes.
So software or technology for the production of a firearm or a firearm frame or receiver controlled under 501, 506, 507, or 509, and that's most, cartridge firearms.
Yeah.
That is made available by posting on the internet in electronic format such as AMF or G-code and is ready for insertion into a CNC machine, additive manufacturing equipment, or any other equipment that makes use of the software or technology to produce the firearm frame or receiver or complete firearm. So what they're targeting there is selling the full toolkit to Syria, right?
Yes.
To be here's your Haas machines, here's the tool pack, here's the G-code, go for it.
Yeah, literally, guys.
Not 3D models.
Plug this in, it'll make a saw for you.
Yeah.
It'll make an AK.
Yeah, which it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But there's only one entity that's trying to host G-code and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's him.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you
G-code.
Yeah, because when you download things like 3D printed stuff, I have to convert it to G-code. And then
it doesn't have any manufacturing information in it. It doesn't tell you what material to use, layer height, anything.
Yeah.
It's just a point cloud data is all it is. It's a series of triangles.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is as useful to a CNC machine as blueprints are.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not ready for insertion. It is that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys should think of this basically as if you're giving away a technical data package.
Exactly.
The entire thing is ready to go. You just have to sweep up the floor, get the machine.
Well, technical data package definitely wouldn't be covered, but a full package turnkey, right?
Okay.
Because TDPs are material hardness, all of the drawings, geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, all that stuff. But G-code and AMF are calibrated for a machine for its tooling, right? So this is we've sent you a Haas VF2. tool holders 1 through 10 are loaded with the right end mills. Here's the G code. Hit the button, it'll go. Right? Like, that's what we're talking about here.
Yes.
And that makes sense because that's what you would need to have a turnkey production operation.
Oh, okay. So that's what they're arguing. Guys, this is what you can't do. You have to do that basically. And does downloading a 3D printed gun from the catalog sound like any of that? No.
No, because when you download the vast majority, like I'm aware of one person who like was just a weird person who put G code for an Ender 3 in their release. But the only G code that like really gets done out there is the Ghost Gunner tool files, right? Which are preset for specific tooling, usually a 1/4 inch end mill and some drill bits.
Yes.
And it's just G code in a zip format, and it just runs on the machine. Everything else is point cloud data. And
real quick, who sells the Ghost Gunner? just real quick, if I wanted to buy the Ghost Gunner, where would I go?
I don't remember it, but it's a.
Well, who owns the company that does all that?
Oh, Mr. Rutledge Wilson, Mr. Cody Rutledge Wilson.
Yes, Cody.
Yeah. Huh? Counter plaintiff. Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy like. Uh-oh. Now I ain't no snitch, and I know you're not, but I'm just saying, like, uh-oh. If you really wanted to be really technical.
I think I know why he did this. This is his comprehension. This is what he wants the law to be. And so he thinks that by throwing this out in a lawsuit, like that will somehow materialize it.
Oh, so he thinks this is the way, this is the domino.
I think he thinks that.
Oh, it goes to the Supreme Court and they're like, Cody, Clarence Thomas looks at him and goes, Cody, you're right.
and then
Clarence Thomas just stands up, applauds him.
Yeah.
And Cody's
and then
walking
they just
out.
kill me.
They execute you in front of everybody, and Cody's walking out, and Clarence Thomas turns around and yells, "Hey, Cody!" and he throws him the gavel. And Cody walks
out. Yeah, that's what he thinks is going to happen here. And that's really cute.
Lauren Nadig is saying David Gingras is suing me using the same brain dead logic. Yes. David Gingras is
Does this read like his writing?
Yes, he's crazy. He is this guy.
Lauren, I was watching your video. Actually, me and my wife were watching your video last night when and my wife was like, "Who is she talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, that's opposing counsel." It was awesome.
Yes. And guys, this is and Lauren's been covering the stuff with the real quick, guys. Lauren's been covering the stuff with Laura Owens and the Tonsil Twins. But yeah, here she is right there. If you guys want to see some of the stuff out there, Owens v. Eckert is the case. So
yeah. No, she actually and Lauren does a good job of putting everything in very simple English. So definitely recommend you check her out.
Yes. Yes, and then Cody's named the King of Gundam. Yes, the King of Guns.
Yeah.
So, yes, anyways, yes, here is you, the party, Matt. He goes sometimes by the alias Fuddbuster.
No, whatever.
Yes, you don't go by your government name. You go by Fuddbuster.
Yeah.
So he is currently a director of the foundation. Yeah. I mean, that is pretty neat. You could say you're involved in a foundation. I'm involved in a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh wow, you're like a philanthropist or something.
It just hasn't done anything.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the philanthropy. Yeah. It doesn't cause problems.
Yeah.
You are currently a director of MAF Corp. Yep. And was at times in the past. He is an employee, partner, and alter ego of John Ellick.
I do think that's funny.
How are you?
I'm an employer, partner, and alter ego.
Yeah.
Of John Ellick. That's a fascinating allegation.
Well, because if you're the employer and a partner, you can't just fire a partner.
Right.
It doesn't work. But you're the alter ego of an actual, I hate to use the sovereign citizen terms, but a flesh and blood man. You're the alter ego of a living being. Or maybe he thinks the catalog is real and John's not real. John's fake. So anyways, it keeps going here. He is the administrator of the catalog's enterprise chat, and has administrative access to the Odyssey pages, where you facilitate and oversee the unrestricted exchange of data.
By the way, not true. I do not have admin access to any of that shit.
Yeah, well,
I don't even know where he got that from.
Well, yeah. So, John, and if you guys were not aware, John is Ivan. John got outed by the Washington Post or the New York Times.
Yeah, and I wonder where they got that information, because it did come at the same time that Freeman got arrested.
Yeah. Once again, who's being a chatty fucking Kathy out there? It makes you wonder, chat.
Somebody.
Makes you wonder who's running the gossip column.
Yep.
So anyways, that's Ivan on Twitter, Navigo Boom. He's got
Oh, that's where he says former employee of Defense Distributed.
Yeah.
That's insane and did not happen.
I was gonna say, I've never heard this. Like, when I read this, I'm like, wait, when the fuck would that have happened? You know, that's a big problem, because it's one thing, like, if you're like wrong that like Ivan wears a red hat versus a blue hat. But when you say he worked for my client and that never fucking happened, that's a very big problem when you're completely like not even 100% wrong. And not like there's not even a misunderstanding there. Like, no. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. Anyways, they talk about the ghetto. Oh, yeah. And, he's Matt's employee, and was recently exposed by the New York Times for having violated federal export laws at issue in this case.
Yeah, in fact, guess what the New York Times didn't say?
They didn't say he violated federal export law.
Yeah, in fact, they said that they were pretty sure that he was following the law. Yes,
they just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Now, remember, chat, this normally accusing someone of committing a crime is defamation, but this is in a court document, so, well, the rules are different. You basically kind of have a license to defame.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Larosier's employee, business partner, alter ego, and like this is my flesh puppet.
Well, yeah. Well, yes. Well, I think at times this is his way of trying to cover all his bases by listing every possible thing. But then, like when you try to list all the things just to cover your bases, you sound like an idiot. Because he can't be he can't be an employee and a business partner. You wouldn't have a. Think about it, Chad. If you started a partnership and then your partner was working underneath you, but you split the profits 50-50, how is that going to fucking work?
And then he happens to also be your flesh puppet.
Yes. Well, it's better than being a fleshlight. So, so Alexander Holiday is an individual. He's another resident of the state of Florida.
It's Control Pew.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know Control Pew, he's another part of this universe. It's better than being a collective resident of the state of Florida. Holiday's the director of the Catalog Foundation and Math Corp. He is an employee and partner of Larosier and Ivan. Once again, how can you be an employee and a partner? It doesn't work.
And also, who's the employee of?
Yes.
And who's which one?
Yeah, is it part of the Catalog Foundation?
We just all hire each other? Is that how this works?
Yes, we're all employees. It's a co-op.
We're also all the boss.
Yes, it's a co-op. We're actually communists. Holiday, Control P owns a Catalog website. Sorry, I was going to say, when you say their names, I'll use them, but if otherwise, I didn't want to say who's who until it's listed. So,
well, he's always been public.
Okay, I didn't know. So Okay, so we get through that. Peter Celentano, he is an individual in the state of New York. He can be reached for service of process at the Niagara County Jail. Because Cody put him there.
I mean, he kind of brags about it a little bit in here.
Yeah. I'm not saying that happened. That's my belief that happened. Somebody who lives in Texas probably dropped a dime to the police in the state of New York. And he's currently sitting in jail.
Yeah, and if you look at the docket for it, you'll find that they were being really forceful about not revealing the source of the probable cause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm going to start trying to get some of the documents because I want to do a thing on that.
Yeah.
What he did here, because yes, this guy basically got fucked by Cody. He is responsible and for the catalog, and is now and at times a key material witness in the past of one of its principal administrators.
It was key material times in the past. One of its yeah, that's English.
Yes, it's he was now and it was at times a key material witness in the past of one of its, and I think he's trying to say in the past history of one of the principal administrators. It's not, you got to rework this. You got to rework this, buddy. He's compensated by Math Corporation and administrator of the catalog with access to the chat and message histories, blah, 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 blah. His role is still advertised at chat.deterrencedispense.com, a submain of the catalog webpage. He was recently arrested for federal firearms offenses of being detained without bond in the Western District of New York. Yes, thank you, Cody. We appreciate that.
Look at the jurisdictional statement.
Yes. This court has personal jurisdiction over Celentano. How? He has purposely availed himself of the privilege of conducting activities in the state of Florida. Which activities? Which activities has he done?
There's personal jurisdiction here because specific.
Yes. You have to say what he did. You're going to have to specify it because he doesn't live there. If he lived there, that takes care of the problem. Or if he had, there's nothing here. The guy lives in Buffalo. How is he tied to it? You have to establish the minimum contacts. Come on, David, international shoe. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, that's and for those of you who are like, not drinking any lawyer Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
When people say that's day one shit, no, that's actually literally the first day of law school. Is international shoe.
Yes.
Yeah, where they're like, here's if you can sue somebody.
Yes. And I had one of my professors dressed up as international shoe for I'm sure you did too. The civil procedure guy. Oh, I had a civil procedure guy. He was Professor Kilbert. He dressed up as international shoe for Halloween. I was like, he actually did a good job of it. It was actually pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
It made you think. You had to think about it. Josh Stroke. Josh Stroke's an individual in the state of Arizona. Okay.
All right.
So let's see how you tie him there. He's responsible for conduct of the catalog and is at times a key material witness in the past, one of its principal leaders. Okay. He's an agent of Math Corp and has acted as the chief of propaganda since 2022. Yes, just like the North Koreans. He promotes the catalog's illegal enterprise on social media and regularly engages in trade libel, false advertising, and tortious interference against DEFCAD on behalf of the enterprise. Stroke's harassment, but that's just funny that way. Stroke's harassment of DEFCAD employees is so frequent and so violent, DEFCAD had to secure a workplace harassment injunction against him in Arizona's Maricopa County Superior Court, which he is still violating.
Yeah, because they alleged that this person was an employee when they had never, ever, ever, ever worked with or for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, let's see the jurisdictional statement.
Yes, where's the jurisdiction over this guy? Specific jurisdiction exists because this action arises out of and relates to conduct by which he has availed himself the privilege of conducting activities within Florida. Which ones? Where are the minimal contacts?
Yeah.
How does Florida's long arm statute apply?
Yeah. You have to cite the long arm statute.
Yes, you have to. You have to explain. You have to show your work. John Letterman. Is it?
You're adding a syllable. That's good.
Oh, well, Letterman. Sorry, Letterman. Sorry, I thought it said Letterman.
Yeah.
John Letterman. He's like, no, I'm not related to Senator Letterman. He's like, I don't have strokes.
You don't have that jacket. No cool jacket.
I don't wear sweaters all the time. Yes, Johnny the Human. If you guys have seen him, and he's probably here in chat. Yes.
He is.
Yes. Let's go, Hackerman section time. Yes. I know we were getting to this. I thought it was good.
Let man.
Yes. Yes. Let man be free. You're responsible for the enterprise and at key times. Yes. As part of this, he is the catalog's IT director. Also goes by the alias Zero Cool. He wasn't allowed to touch a touch-tone phone till he turned 18, chat. Letman worked closely with counter-defendant Celentano until his arrest because of Cody, and maintains access to the gallows complete chat and direct message histories. For years, he facilitated and overseen the unrestricted exchange of technical data of projects of foreign developers, which are in violation of federal export law and infringe the enterprise. Letman executes and organizes cyber attacks against DEFCAD under the direction of Alec and of Ivan and Matt in violation of 18 USC 1030. So
I do not even know how to computer.
Yeah, I thought as a kid starting a game in MS-DOS was hacking. That's about all I know. Like, I remember some HTML from high school. Like, that's kind of all I got there. I don't know. Logical bystander saying, wait, isn't Zero Cool a name from Hackers? Yes, that's why I was making the joke.
It wasn't actually in the document.
Yeah, HIV1 says, what is a counter defendant? Okay, so you can sue, so there's plaintiff and defendant, okay? The defendant, I'm sorry, I said plaintiff and defendant, okay? The defendant can turn around and sue the plaintiff.
Yep.
So, for example, me and Matt, we're in a lawsuit. I sue Matt. Matt can turn around, throw down the reverse card and say, actually, I'm suing you, Sean. And now it's a counterclaim. And in that case, I'm the counter defendant. He's the counter plaintiff.
So in this action, I'm the plaintiff and counter defendant.
Yes.
And he's the defendant and counter plaintiff. But soon he'll be back to just being a defendant because I do not expect that there is a way that these pleadings can survive in the 11th Circuit.
Yes. HIV says, I just want to play global thermonuclear war. Johnny, we need your help. And Johnny, yes, finding his Iranian servers on Shodan was apparently a big-time hack. Yes. No, this is not being invented. This is just kind of obnoxious legal trolling.
Yeah, no, it is funny because later on in the document, Cody takes ownership of Iranian servers where he was hosting technical data.
Yes,
that's odd.
Yes, and it's like you sent technical data overseas without an ITAR permission.
Yeah,
and
literally the only one you're not allowed to do.
Yes, and to a
and then you in your big I've owned you counter claim, you admit it.
Yes. And guys, remember, Iran is a designated state sponsor of terrorism. Iran is also on a sanctions list.
Yeah.
And if you guys remember Larry Vickers from Vickers Tactical, Larry Vickers violated sanctions against Russia. Well, guess what? There's sanctions against Iran. And if you break those sanctions, that's not good. So,
It was pretty stupid, but whatever.
Yes. Well, and it's, like Stringer Bell says,
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Because the neat part is, these are Cody's words. These are his statements. He adopted them. His attorney filed them. This is Cody admitting to things. Cody can't say, my attorney said all that. Well, no, you hired him. This is your lawsuit.
Right.
He's speaking on your behalf. And he's telling the court all the shit you're doing. So, Yes. Is this Guantanamo illegal? Pretty close. I would not, if you came to me and said you're violating sanctions with Iran by storing weapons data and violating ITAR with Iran, I tell you, you might.
And especially that it was very clearly done on purpose. It wasn't whoops, that was the cheapest server. Haha. No,
you didn't know. No, you literally do it. Yes. This is you might get black-sided for a moment till they figure out you're just a retard. And then they just throw you in federal prison. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good.
Yeah,
you're better off joining the Ukrainian Foreign Legion and hoping the Russians kill you.
Johnny put a thing there. Yeah.
Yes, he did it trying to involve me, and you'll see how flimsy it is. Yep, we're getting there.
Yeah. So we can go on. This is just him not understanding,
Yeah. So Yeah, MAF Corp. Well, I just want to say MAF Corp at maf-arms.com, where you can once again promo code POCCRIM for 10% off, chat. That's all we need to cover there. The subject matter jurisdiction, we don't really care.
Yeah.
Venue, blah, 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 blah. Facts, DEFCAD makes it legally. Yeah, fuck.
This is where they go over their whole, like, look at how stupid this is.
Yes. Do you want to go through this part real quick or no?
Well, we kind of went over it, and they also said it before already.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of this is copy and paste, chat. But
yeah.
if you guys do want to understand things, like, yes, and if you guys want me to, I can do a like Arms Export Control Act thing. I could.
It is a very interesting thing, right? Because there's
It
things
is.
that you would think would be covered that aren't covered, and things that you wouldn't be covered that are covered.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, for example,
like shotguns are like virtually unregulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's interesting. They're virtually unregulated there, but they're also basically they're all destructive devices until the Attorney General says they're not yet.
Yeah.
But the exports, guys, like we'll go through ITAR one day. Like encryption is a weapon.
Yeah.
It's considered a munition.
That
So
was
the
big litigation that happened around some of the OG.
Yeah, with PGP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there are levels of encryption you cannot transport outside the United States without a license. So if you sit there and you're like you make some brilliant fucking encryption program, you can't take it outside the country.
Yeah.
If it's a certain level of sophistication, the government will say that is a weapon because obviously you can use that. And if the government can't crack your encryption, guess what? You know, terrorism or the bad guys can use it. That is a weapon source. There is all kinds of stuff. Does Matt post to Scotland? I don't get what that means.
But I don't know what that means.
I don't know whatever. Yeah. Yes, the USML, the United States Munitions List. Yep. There's and we'll you know what, chat? We'll go over this at some point. There is an entire thing about it. Foxhound says they won by making it open source. I think that was one of the big things PGP did. It's called Pretty Good Privacy, chat. They actually the government tried to go after them for it, but they ended up winning in court. But it took a long time. So, but yes, a lot of this is kind of a rehash. We've already talked about it. But yes, there is, and once again, the United States Munitions List. Yeah, Gingras, when I read this, I'm like, this is like somebody who's only heard of it the first time, put a lot of this together. And I'm not well versed in it, but I even know, I'm like, wait, that's not right. He's really messing this up. How he lists a lot of this out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's, where we go. Yes. So DEFCAD worked with Ivan and Control Pew before the catalog. You know, so in 2019, and this is where, once again, I heard that, I read this and I'm like, I don't think this is true. I've never heard this in the lore that Ivan tried to go work for Cody.
Yeah, it's not true.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I never heard that. And he was famous for collaborating with a German citizen, Jacob Daegu, also known as Jay Stark. And remember, may he live on forever. Jay Stark, known for the fuck gun control now. So, yes, it's sad that he is dead. He is no longer with us. But yes, this is where too, where I'm like, I never heard this. You know, Ivan signing an NDA with Cody. This sounds like you're gonna have to fucking produce this. Not like that is 100% something they're gonna have to show. And
not if the complaint just gets dismissed because it's a shotgun pleading.
Yeah, but I kind of want to see this in discovery because if they don't have it, that's a big fucking problem. And I know they don't have it, but yes, like this would be hilarious to see because it'll be like scrawled on the back of a napkin, probably. It's like, look, I have it. So Cody Wilson explained to Ivan the 2018 outcome of the Arms Control Reform Initiative. I can't imagine Ivan has Ivan ever really talked to Cody at all?
Mm-hmm.
Did Ivan ever really talk to him at all?
I really don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was curious.
probably. But
all right. Well, I mean, you are his handler after all, so like, how do you know?
My flesh sock or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't know what he did. So anyways, we can keep going here. They talk about Defense Distributor relaunching the website. Let's get to the let's get to where. Oh, I think this is where they start getting the extortion here. Ivan in control of Pew disparage DEFCAD and demand money. So there's the bear arms and Bitcoin, which, by the way, Bitcoin, holy shit, is going to the moon. God. Defense Distributed Director Cody learned that Ivan had his online persona, Ivan the Troll, publicly accused DEFCAD of not giving enough money to the community and taking too much money for itself instead. These posts were made on Reddit and Twitter. Yes, Reddit.
Twitter.com.
What's that?
Twitter.com.
Yes, Twitter.com, yes. When you actually say actually, it's called X now. When Ivan when Cody confronted Ivan and asked why he was publicly critical of DEFCAD, Ivan responded the site did not pay him enough money and that Cody should renegotiate their business deal if Cody wanted the disparagement to end. So, in 2021, the Ninth Circuit issued its final ruling in Washington versus Department of State, vacating the order and joining the Department of State's final rule, moving 3D printed guns and their associated files from the munitions list and placing them on the Commerce Control list. And that was the big thing. It became part of the Department of Commerce's issue. So that was the big thing that changed that. Although the State Department and Commerce respectively had promulgated final rules in 2020 to transfer the data after a multi-state action challenged both the final rules, the district court enjoined the Department of State's final rule. And they get through all of
like so hilariously irrelevant.
Yeah, what does this matter? And I read through that too because I'm like, yes, this part is correct. This whole recitation of the case is correct. But what does it do for Ivan's case?
Well, we haven't like this is supposed to be relevant background fact, but it's not.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can almost respond to this like, duh. Yes. And what did this do here? So they could, I think there's you could have really deleted that paragraph there. And they say just roll the ruling in the case. They could have done that. Cody immediately posted all the files. Okay. And then, yes, once again, the enforcement letter thing from the Commerce Department. Once again, what's that got to do with anybody in the case? Still nothing. So there's more and more talk from Ivan. And Ivan responded that a defense distributor did not pay him or his collaborator, Jay Stark. Then Ivan would direct everyone he knew who used DEFCAD to site to charge back their credit cards, to damage or terminate the merchant account relationships. Okay, well, have fun showing that if you survive this motion. Now, we're going to get to the hacks and all the information here.
Oh, this is, I like when he posts
these are great, yes. So here we go. The counter defendants are also the owners and administrators of an active Rocket Chat server hosted at chat.defensedeterrencesuspense.com. Yes, and it's actually pretty good. That's where they did the beta test for Hitchhiker Chat, where they not only facilitate the unrestricted transfer of export control data, especially to foreign developers. For notable foreign developers, like, I don't know how you pronounce that because I'm not Portuguese. Carousel, I don't know how you pronounce it. I was like, I don't know how to do that. Who lives in Brazil? Well, Brazil's got its own fucking problems. Who really cares? And they host private invite-only chat rooms where they and other volunteers directly coordinate technical data and money transfers to the developer. These counter defendants' money and the money laundering extends to public participation in the foreign developers' crowdfunding exercises and the coordination of confidential royalty agreements and kickbacks for U.S. sales of parts kits through Matt's business.
By the way, didn't happen.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, I don't know how you'd be able to prove any of that anyway if it did happen. Like, this should be broken down into multiple parts anyway.
Yeah, it should.
But like, in kickbacks for the sale of things, like, private companies, like, it's not really a kickback at that point. That's just a revenue agreement. It's not really a kickback. A kickback's more of a governmental issue.
I couldn't say what it is because it never fucking happens.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, private parties don't really have kickbacks. It's
I will tell you guys what we do normally do is we give people discount codes and we give them a slice.
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
when you use Potcrim's code, by the way, he makes money.
Yeah.
He rings a little pause.
10% off, chat. Use the promo code Potcrim. And notice, obviously I would do it anyway because I think Matt's great and I like what he does, but certainly, yeah. Yes, and I already said it's a site sponsor.
I'm just saying to get rid of the the mystère, right? No, that is actually how we work with people.
Yes. That's how all these things work, chat. That's how the internet works. Yes, the catalog, all the files, always free. I mean, look at these anarchists just giving away information. And then Control Pew, decimate gun control around the world at the catalog. So horrible. I mean, this is like Al-Qaeda level propaganda. It's so scary. And the administrators and beta managers, I think that's meant to be a dig at you guys, calling you betas. I'm not really sure, though. Anyway, they serve under the direction of the catalog leadership and have a history of promoting the legal production of NFA items like machine guns and silencers of violations of 18 USC 922 and 933. Where is the history of this? When the catalog's longtime beta manager and assistant systems administrator Peter Celentano was arrested by the ATF, he was found in possession of 59 machine guns. Yeah, who fucking told them about that? The guy who was all about black flags and free shit and uber libertarianism called the fucking police. Yeah, that's real wholesome and principled. In October, the catalog's moderator PLA Boy is likewise known as a prolific developer of files for NFA-controlled printable silencers, which he admits to doing without a license. You don't need a license to make files.
Mm-hmm.
You can develop files for everything. You can make the Yankee Boogle. You can have the file. It's not illegal. When chat members publicly ask the counter-defense to justify why they host multiple private chat rooms dedicated to the development of illegal machine gun conversion devices and silencers, or to make it make sense, the administrators like Control Pew promote the deliberate fiction that the 20-year-olds in these channels showing pictures of their bedrooms and hands have federal firearms manufacturing licenses. A lot of you guys are SOTs.
Yep.
That's the thing. Like,
I know also that it doesn't really happen the way he's saying it.
Well, yeah, that too. But either way, like, yeah, it makes you guys sound like you're in their bedrooms. It's like, okay, so, like, even if that was true, like, what does it matter? But you guys have SOTs. Like, I don't know which all of you guys do, but a lot of you guys.
This is just SOT. Like, I really feel like but I really feel like he's
yes.
I feel like this is his attempt at like snitching right?
Yeah.
Like he thinks that if he just throws all this shit at the wall that they broke every single law, right? He thinks that that'll do something, but it's just it's not true. And also the other thing is, guys, this happens kind of all the time in civil litigation. Like it's especially in the 11th Circuit. One of the like examples of a shotgun pleading is one that repeatedly alleges immaterial criminal allegations in a civil case. Like
yes. And Lauren, you're taking off. Have a good one.
Good night, Lauren. And by the way, it'll be in Orlando District Court, so not too far.
Yes. And Keopathic is saying, so can I make a file for the Davy Crockett? I mean, up to the point you're not dealing with like Q classified material, yes. But there's going to be parts of it you won't be able to do. But yes, you could just start making a design for almost all of it right now. And it's not illegal. Okay, so let's see here. Yes. The truth is closer to that reflected by the habits of a Maryland man arrested for possession of 80 ghost guns, including printed suppressors designed by PLA Boy and control Pew. Okay, so what? Like, you're allowed to make a design. It's not illegal to make designs. I could make a design for a machine gun right now. It's not illegal. But yes, there are public beta rooms, and they talk about.
But yeah, no, when he's doing all this shit
Yeah.
and like vilifying people who follow the law, it must be that other people talked bad about him while he's losing business, right? It must be. It couldn't possibly be anything else.
It couldn't be because he's a fucking asshole and a dickhead. No, it can't be that. If a member wants to publicly acquire the files for the newest printable FTN silencers, he uses the Rocket Chat to privately message a moderator, or another administrator will ask to see proof you have already illegally printed some variant of his previously illegally released silencers before he'll admit you to an invite-only room where members document their active crimes. You know, like, once again, when you make these claims, you better be able to, like, it's not going to win, but, like, you can't just say this and then just walk away from it. That's a very serious fucking allegation, which is not true. But, like,
right.
you know, like, if this parts of this survive, he's now, like, he can't just ignore this later. Like, the court's going to say, well, what the fuck is this? Like, why aren't you addressing it?
Right.
Oh, we were just kind of spitting shit at the wall. Like, that's not an answer. So, on November 1st, the catalog illegally published.
I mean, this is like a lot of nonsense. I don't like. When do you get down to the next section?
Yeah,
because he just talks about a bunch of different stuff he didn't.
Yeah, the
like.
Rogue 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh, and then this, I don't even know what this is.
Yeah. Well, in this part, I saw this here. Yeah. Immortal Revolt candidly explained that Ivan set certain functional release conditions and that Matt provided him with legal advice and research. And I don't know how you provide legal research and legal advice to a guy in Europe. Because basically, it's like, okay, anything you do there is probably illegal. I mean, that's like that's the only advice you can really give someone. They're saying it was a requirement by Ivan to be able to release both the semi and select version in the same file pack. I'm pretty sure Matt did the research. I
don't even know what that gun is.
Yeah, I've not like I haven't seen the Rogue 9 either, but I haven't been on the catalog lately.
Yeah.
So the counter defendants are open and obvious violations of 22 USC 2278 and 50 USC 4801 are often politically targeted and highly coordinated. Yeah, because in Matt's Discord, there's clearly a politically aligned ideological framework that's in there. It's not at all like a million different fucking people.
Yeah.
That's the part I love the best. I'm like, has he ever sat in voice chat before?
Well, no, because his spies get rooted out instantly.
Yes.
But yeah, we mostly disagree with each other.
Well, yeah, and there's all kind. Yeah, that's.
And people from your Discord hate that I let a bunch of people who believe different things sit and argue with each other because it's fun.
Oh, don't worry, chat. I'm involved in this already.
yeah. You made
when I saw that, I'm like, well, I guess I'm part of this now. I had to tell 2.0, I'm like, I'm involved in this tangentially. I wonder if I'll get subpoenaed. I bet I will at some point if I keep talking. Oh, that'll be hilarious.
Maybe you'll be a counter defendant.
Or maybe I'll just be a great witness. I'll be like, I don't recall, Senator. So, this enterprise has been devoted to the repeated illegal transmission of defense-related technical data to agents of the armed wing of the National Unity Government of Myanmar, also known as the People's Defense Force. Okay, like, you're going to have to prove that.
But also, what does it have to do with your claim?
Yeah. I mean, like, really? Like, you're going to have to do that. Like, it's... You know, I mean, and really at the end of the day, I mean, even if you're arguing that the National Unity Government of Myanmar, they're the good guys right now. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of communists and there's like the Kachin Liberation Front and all kinds of groups right now and the whole thing in Burma. But like, these are like the good guys that are fighting the military junta that is supported by the Chinese government. Like,
Did you
so
ever
we're
play Disco
helping
Elysium?
people? I mean, would it be better if they were supporting the Azov battalion? Well, Cody would probably like that. I shouldn't say that too loud. Yes, Cody would be like, well, duh.
Did you ever play Disco Elysium?
No.
This whenever we're talking about communists, I always like have this weird like compulsion to call them communards because that's what they're referred to as in that game, and I just think that's so much more fun. Communards.
But yes, guys, and if you didn't know that Burma is in the middle of a civil war, and yes, the rebels are using like FGC 9s and 3D printed guns like fucking crazy. Like it is pretty like there's entire groups of them carrying 3D printed guns and going into battle and fucking murking government troops. It's actually pretty
much anymore because they've seized all of the armories.
Well, yes, in the meantime, they did it to they used what they had to get more of what they needed, and yes, they leveled up. Their skill tree evolved.
Yeah.
So, Midnight Nexus says I had a legit crying episode playing that fucking game.
It's a good game, solid game. It's a shame that there will never be a sequel because the developers were European.
Yeah, well, amazing. Mom's Ravioli says amazing game. I am from Estonia, so I am proud fellow Estonians developed it too.
Yeah. Estonians. And then they developed it, and then everyone loved it, and then they fought each other, and so there will never be another one.
Yeah. Well, Ture. I don't know. Didn't I say hello over there? Yeah. Disco Elysium's devs got fucked over though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see here. Let's keep going. So, but yes, like, okay, so great. There's a bunch of people fighting a Chinese-backed government. Like, the horror. So they say that Ivan bragged about it in the New York Times. Okay. I mean, and then the longest-serving beta chat manager in this period was known by the counter defense as Dr. Death, a member of the Enterprise who resigned from his role the same day as Celentano was arrested by the federal authorities in New York. And then, yes, I love this part. Does anybody remember the Niggy Nagger? If that was a 3D printable bullet designed to have a 3D printer nozzle fitted into it to act as an armor-piercing round. It was designed by a Brazilian guy named Morton Given. He still has the file for our friends in Myanmar. If not, I'll design one for that purpose. And then, yes, that's fine, but we're not calling it that. I love that. I remember seeing that before. That was the best. Like, yeah, that's the only issue. Is like we're not using that name.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's so funny. All right, so MAF Corp serves as the Catalog's de facto bank. Like, yes, it's shocking. Corporations pay people. Oh my God, yes, they exchange money for those people.
Whatever. It's just like this is such a
His fiction is so much more interesting than reality.
Yes,
You know?
yes, your corporation pays people money. Yes, it's commerce, chat. It's capitalism. Yes, he must have just discovered this in Civilization 2. Anyways, so
what is a normal e-commerce calendar?
Yeah, what's an abnormal e-commerce calendar? Yeah. But anyways, Control Pew manages product fulfillment, commercial support issues, and the enterprise official cashier paying out bounties and royalties. So, Control Pew and Johnny maintain a complete record of the public and private communications between their executive members and third-party commercial partners. They maintain and this is the other part too. It's like they maintain an illegal ledger of payments and file transfers of foreign developers in violation of ITAR and EAR. Yes. This is just like it's like he watched The Untouchables. They got the illegal. You got the illegal books and the good books, and you've got your illegal ledger out there.
And then I like this last sentence because there's a lot of logical failing.
Yes.
MAF Corp is a sponsor as it is the sponsor of the YouTube show This Week in Guns.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yes,
This Week in Guns, and it's not every week, chat, but it is on Fuddbusters. And yes, hosted by Matt and Ivan, sometimes with Othais on there. No, he's not yawning at the quality of Twig. He's just yawning.
No.
Oh wow, it's already 1. Holy shit, we need to roll here. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, yes.
Why don't you just get down to the claims?
Okay, let's get down to the claims. All right, let's go. Well, guys, by the way, you want to see the Plastikoff? There you go. It is out there. Let's see. There's the phone.
Wait, what was that one? Oh, the one with me in it. That one's fun.
Which
go back up a little bit.
Okay.
This was the involvement with a little more.
Zona? Or do you want me to keep going?
Go up a little more.
There you go.
Yeah. So here's the backstory to this message. Like members of my Discord went into your Discord and there was a bit of a fight.
Primarily Zona.
And Zona is very good at making friends. And I didn't know what was happening at all, but I saw just everyone was typing. And so I was like, I'm going to type something fun. And I did that. And now you see Cody unironically referring to me joking in your Discord.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was busy for like a day or two.
Yeah.
And I left and I come back to I fire up Discord and literally it's like a fucking bombing raid came through. Like everything's on fire, people are screaming, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I come back and they're like, everybody's like talking at once, and I'm like, okay, what happened? And basically Zona came in and started talking.
Yeah.
And then Matt comes in, and this is from my Discord. And that's the best. It's like, yes, Zona is one of my top lieutenants, and you regard whatever she did to upset you as coming from me personally. It's like,
and that it had the exact result I intended.
And then then everybody lost their fucking minds again.
Yeah, and then I just walked away.
Yes.
But then you see that he refers to Zona as one of my top lieutenants in this enterprise. Yeah.
Yes, here you go. Yes. Yes, Matt and Ivan continue to employ Stroke as their top lieutenant through MAF Corp, compensating him for his religious reposting and dissemination of FedCAD trade libel and tortious interference. On October 18th. Now, and I was going to, they were forced to secure their workplace harassment order against Stroke in Maricopa County Superior Court, which, once again, you can only get that against your employees, which Zona is not.
Zona is not. And then the other thing is, he had personally had one of his employees seek out that order. But then look what he says there. What does he say there? Who sought out that order? DEFCAD.
Yes.
Oh.
So the directions of DEFCAD.
Yeah.
Yes. So doing it in response to that. When somebody messaged me. Oh yeah, Johnny. We'll get to the part of this.
Johnny wants the IP thing to be read.
Yeah. Well, this is also. Johnny, just want to say when we get to the hacking part.
Sorry. You have to tell him what's.
This is on David Gingras' blog.
Can you read?
I can't even read it. Milo says, if I make an account and start posting anti-Cody stuff, can I get paid too? Oh.
This is hacking.
Yes, this is hacking.
God.
Yes. All right. We're going to keep going here, chat. And actually here, in August, Zona became brazenly public campaign for DEFCAD and its contributors. He harassed developers in the open, as he did with user Unseen Killer in September. It's like, I gave a fair warning I would do this, warns Zona in September 24. After being served as part of this action, Zona declared, bullshit legal demands will not stop me. That's fair. They shouldn't. And yes, friends do not let friends use DEFCAD. Don't use DEFCAD, chat. Don't use FedCAD. Oh yeah. I do like, and at some point, yes, you guys successfully bullied DEFCAD's top file producer and uploader Laughs off the platform.
Yeah, and you know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
We got our hands on a lot of DMs, and that is not what happened. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, really? So it's like they lied. Yeah. Oh, ooh.
Yeah. So
That's gonna be okay. So let's keep going here. Let's get down to the counts. Where are we at? Yeah. Counter defense failed to preserve records.
yeah, that one's insane.
Yes. So, on September 6th, contemporaneously with Matt's announcement of the copyright lawsuit, Ivan deleted the entire 4-year comment history of his Reddit account. Likewise, he locked his public Twitter account for 9 hours and hid or deleted dozens of messages related to DEFCAD, FedCAD, trade libel, and all the things they are connected to catalog harm to Cody. It claims the federal export law do not apply to his organization's activity. On September 19th, Cody sent a litigation hold letter to you guys. Did they actually do that?
He didn't ever actually send one to Math, and quite bizarrely, but anyway, yes, he did hire process servers to like. It appears that he hired private investigators to get everybody's information, and then he hired process servers to issue a 2-page litigation hold, which I think he thinks is magic. Like, because he thinks that just lets him be able to sue people. Like, I don't think anyone actually deleted anything that would have been covered, but that doesn't stop him from just baldly asserting that that's what happened.
Yeah. And it's a litigation hold, but that doesn't actually have any effect. I mean, it could be an issue down the road.
Well, you can't. I mean, you're not. Yeah, you're
not bound.
Well, you're not bound, but you know, you could be subject to an adverse inference.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes. And Poe says, is this about ghost guns? Yes. Spooky ghost guns. Well, it's actually about Cody being a faggot, but yes, kind of.
All right, yeah, Trump won. We can say that again.
Yes, we can use that word again. It's our slur.
Yeah.
So anyway, in September, Celentano received the defense distributor's litigation hold letter. Yes, shortly before Cody told the fucking feds everything about him. Oh, it's kind of wonder how that worked out. So, in October, this criminal acts and complaint were unsealed in the Western District of New York. And yeah, everybody took to Reddit to confirm that Celentano deleted the entirety of his records and communications with the enterprise in defiance of the litigation hold letter he had received. So yeah, okay, I think that's probably bullshit. The counter defense launched ongoing DDoS attacks
with no evidence.
Yes. So the debut publication of Cody Wilson's Black Flag white paper, a historicist criticism of the law of copyright as applied to 3D gun models, was made this year at DEFCAD. On the day of its publication, rather than engage with the white paper or make their own contribution, you guys executed DDoS attacks. Okay, I'd love to see the proof of that. And they continue to this day. So, Johnny claims credit for some of the most recent attacks. He makes it a point of pride to advertise the security vulnerabilities he perceives as available for public exploitation. Which, when he does this, yes, it's talking about Cloudflare.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally saying they use shitty stuff. Like, Yes, and he says instead of interacting with FedCAD through a mega corporation that can need a huge bandwidth attack, you can interact directly with the servers through their much smaller pipes, sidestepping the anti-DDoS stuff, and it helps when you don't trust the megacorp protecting them. I mean, all he's saying is there's a vulnerability. He's not. I mean,
But then he's also got those IPs.
Yeah.
And this is DEFCAD recognizing that those are theirs.
Yes.
So.
And yes, guys, notice one of these. I remember which one of these IPs it is, but one of these IPs.
No, but it's there. You can look at it.
Yeah. One of these IPs is in Iran.
Two of them. Two machines.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Two of these IPs are in Iran.
Yeah.
Yes, Iran. So remember, I told you.
Look at highlight Johnny's comment there.
What's that?
Look at
Oh, Johnny's comment in chat. Okay, hold on here. This was bait. Tickled his ass into validating these foreign systems are his lolcow. Yes. Aaron will tell you exactly where those IPs are from. For those who are curious. Yeah. Yeah. This is Unabrask. Yeah, this is Urbrask. Yeah. This is more than an this is actually really bad. Remember I told you, Chad, if you told me you were fucking breaking sanctions by hosting fucking weapons trafficking in Iran?
It's really weird to put them in Iran.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, of all the places, it's almost like you might have like help from the feds for that. Like, it just seems really. I'm not saying you're glowy, but you probably do glow a little bit if you're doing that.
I'm mesmerized by my watch changing date.
Okay. And Johnny says he also owns Iranian domains. I was not aware of that part. Travioli says, I'm trafficking goon material from Iran. Am I fucked? Iranian gooning material would be very interesting.
I don't know what the Iranians goon to, like a table leg.
In obscure destinations outdoors, saying we're in Central Florida is Matt. You're in Orlando, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, he's in Orlando.
So I bounce between Orlando and Palm Beach.
Yes, and Robin says this doesn't make sense because you're not a fucking retard. Like, if you were absolutely fucking retarded, like Cody, this would make sense, but you're not. So you should be proud you can't understand what Cody's doing here. Cody's admitting the multiple, very fucking serious federal crimes. Like, very serious crimes.
All of the goat tag traffic on Pornhub.
The goat tag traffic. Jesus. This is not good, chat. This is not good.
Yeah. He's claiming Johnny attacked Gingras' own website.
Yes. Yes, well, and now you're making yourself a witness. So how does that work? You're now a witness to this action. When you were inserting yourself as an act of what they've done, you're now a witness. Which when I saw that, I'm like, you're gonna have a problem now because you're gonna have to testify.
Right.
Which I think is a problem there anyway. This is Ricada logic. Yeah, except this guy writes a lot. Nick's too lazy to write this much. But yes. Yes.
And also, just to be fair, Nick is smarter than this. Like,
and
that's saying something.
Well, yes, but Nick's is dumb. Well, at this point, Nick is juiced out of his mind. But yes, this Nick is smarter than this guy. But yes, this is awful. But yes, chat. When you're an attorney, you can't become a witness in the case as well for a factual part like this. Now, there might be if there's a dispute about something that happened, like in a hearing or something. Yeah, you could probably get it. Like, that's not going to disqualify you. But Gingras is saying he's involved now, and that actually is a big problem. When I saw that earlier, you didn't mention that before, Matt. But I don't know. Like, did you think this too? Like, he's made himself a witness to the issue,
right? Yeah, well, because he's framing it as a predicate act.
Yeah. And that he had done this with the approval of Matt and Ivan. It's like, so anyway, we're gonna get to the attribution, the joint civil liability, civil conspiracy here. we'll actually get to where it is. Okay, the cause of action, count one, Rico Suave. So the Rico,
fucking Rico.
yeah, it's never Rico. It's never gonna be Rico, chat. Like, yes, if an organized crime ring got prosecuted and during their thing they had fucked with your business, and you sued them civilly, and you weren't worried they were going to kill you, yes, that would be a time where you could show Rico was established. But just calling Rico on your own in civil court is never going to work. It's never going to work. So racketeering is in terms of state and federal offenses known as predicate offenses. RICO covers the pattern of racketeering, is a series of related predicates that together demonstrate the existence or threat of continued criminal activity. Now, they set forth
yeah.
No, go for it.
I was saying, you can't just say, well, he jaywalked and did this and that and the other thing, right? And so Rico. There's specific predicate acts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Guys, Rico it's a bunch of their building blocks, and if you don't have them, you can't just skip a step. You have to meet all the steps or you don't meet Rico. You have to meet all the elements, and they're very specific. And that's why at the federal level, Rico is actually very hard. Like, it takes a long time to put together a Rico case. It's not like in Georgia where basically two people committing a crime is Rico. Like the YSL trial is basically shown. At the federal level and in most other states, an organized criminal activity case is a lot of fucking work and it's a lot of moving parts. Rico cases are very meticulous because there's so much you have to put together in them. And if you guys, and we've talked about Rico before, chat, we've gone over the Rico statute. There is a lot there, and you have to show, the pattern of activity may be used to infiltrate, control, or operate an enterprise which is engaged in or affect interstate or foreign commerce. You literally have to show everything, and it's not easy. There is a civil cause of action for any person injured in business or property by reason of racketeering activity prohibited by the act. And I think ultimately the way this was set up was you could sue a gang that screwed with you after they were proven criminally. That's the way I always understood it, is that's how you do this. Is after the bad guys went to prison, you could sue them.
Yeah.
You
can originate a Rico action, where there isn't a existing criminal action.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to basically, the burden of the prosecution falls on you when you're doing that.
And that's the thing. Like, you literally have to become a U.S. attorney in proving your case, and you don't have the resources of the U.S. attorney or the FBI.
Right.
And that's why these never work. If you had somebody already convicted of Rico, then you could turn around and say, look, it's already been proven.
Right.
But you don't have that here. You never have that here. Stop My Beast said, don't download a step file to Sonichu Medallion. Fuck. No. But yes, guys, it's never Rico. It's never, ever fucking Rico. This is never the answer. The coordinated campaign of illegal and fraudulent activities. Okay, well, let's get to them. So the defendants compose the catalog. That's your gang, chat. It's a gang. The enterprise and association, in fact, comprised of the counter defendants Matt, Ivan, Control Pew, Celentano, Johnny, and Zona, and the affiliated entities, the Catalog Foundation and Math Corp. The enterprise functions as an ongoing organization with a common purpose to unlawfully disseminate digital firearms files. That's like the kind of like most boring gang ever. What's your thing? We're distributing knowledge, man. Illegal knowledge. Defrauding consumers, evading federal export laws, and harming defense distributed. The enterprise operates through a network websites. Okay. The enterprise activities utilize the channels of and directly affect interstate and foreign commerce. Yeah, they don't. Each of the counter defendants has engaged in and is engaging in a pattern of racketeering activity because they've committed at least 2 predicates within the last 10 years that demonstrate the existence or threat of continued criminal activity. Now, this is the one part of Rico Chat, it has a 10-year look back.
Right.
It's not like you got to catch them all right away. Like that is kind of one of the ways that RICO kind of like catches everybody. It takes a little while.
Well, when you're actually in a criminal gang, yeah.
Yes, when you're actually in a criminal gang, that's why like John Gotti, they were struggling to get part of his RICO case put together. They had some issues and they just had to keep digging and they found what they needed. So the wire fraud. Yes. Remember, guys, using the wires to commit fraud is wire fraud. Okay? They agree. The dogs agree.
Rose agrees.
So, yes. But they're not limited to multiple acts within the last 10 years. Okay. Any act which is indictable under 18 U.S.C. Section 1343, which is the wire fraud statute.
Mm-hmm.
And wire fraud is participation in a scheme to defraud through the use of interstate mails or wires in furtherance of the scheme. But guys, remember, using this is wire fraud. This computer is wire fraud. Using a telegraph machine is the original version of wire fraud.
Right.
But that's, yes. DDDDD. You do that today. It's like, what is this language?
My grandmother was a telegraphist in Jamaica.
Oh. Did she? So she was pretty good at doing Morse, huh? She could knock it out.
Apparently.
The counter defendants. So here's the scheme to defraud. They falsely disparage DEFCAD's business practices.
How is that wire fraud? Like that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to argue you guys could you devised and executed the scheme through the wires, but that's still I think that's what they're arguing here.
It's unclear if that's what they are.
Well, I'm trying to give them a little bit of the benefit here, but if that's the case, you should explain that.
Right.
You should say they devised and executed this scheme using, Rocket Chat, and here's how they did it. Here's how.
Yeah, and here was and on this date, this, they exchanged this false information, right?
Yeah. And what's the 10-year window? When's the last 10 years?
Right.
Starting from what day?
Right.
I mean, if this is because part of this is,
but the activity, even if
you have to show when and where. When did I do this?
Even with the 10-year look back, you have to allege a pattern.
Yes.
And so you can't kind of just pick and choose, right?
Yes.
There has to be a pattern of activity that's calculated, to one specific end. And I think it's a little tenuous here.
Oh, it's very tenuous. But I was just saying, this is like an indictment, though. You have to say, on such and such date, you guys did X, Y, and Z. You'd have to say, I need a more definitive statement. You need to basically give me an indictment. And that's why I was saying, and like you said, you basically either need somebody to be convicted of RICO or you literally have to convict them yourself.
Right.
And that's why it never works. Well, that also because people are idiots. They misrepresented their own legal compliance. Okay, how? And promoting illegal transactions involving digitally controlled firearms files. How is that fraud? How is promoting the illegal transactions fraud? Because you weren't hiding. Are they claiming you were disguising these as something else that they're not? How is that fraud?
He may fully believe in his reading of in his clown shoes reading of the law, right?
Yeah.
But really the regulation. But a disagreement as to that does not make it fraudulent.
No.
And there's a heightened pleading standard, and the 11th Circuit has recognized that any RICO allegations is tantamount to fraud, and so all of them have to be pled with particularity.
Yes. And
each message that is fraudulent would have to be identified, and how it was fraudulent would have to be identified.
Yes. And chat, that is something, when we talk about the particularity, normally you just have to do notice pleading.
Right.
The person has to be put on notice you're alleging certain facts. And could they kind of figure out what's going on? Fraud is the one time where notice pleading is not applicable. You have to specifically state how the fraud happened and how it all played out. You basically have to spell it out at that point in your complaint. So That's another issue here. But once again, I can't tell shit like what exactly happened. How did you deceive the customers, partners, and the general public? How did this work? You diverted business to the catalog.
In the catalog, like through what payment processor?
Yeah,
right?
like how did you're diverting business? So the catalog, like they diverted business by downloading freely printed, freely available files. So they defrauded Cody and then just didn't make money on it, which they gave things away.
Right.
I read this. It took me I spent like 10 minutes reading this last night. I didn't get it. I don't understand how they can argue, because they're never alleging like how do you show the proceeds.
Right.
Like there's no trace in any of this. And in particular, this wire fraud includes willful violations of the EAR regulations applicable to files that are ready for insertion. Still, how is there wire fraud?
So that's it. But and also that's his EAR, like his whole interpretation.
Yeah,
is that a 3D model is necessarily ready for insertion into a CNC machine.
Yes,
that's retarded.
Yeah, because it can't do anything with it.
Yeah,
it's like
that means like that, because there's a bunch of video games, right, that used real CAD in their guns. So it's like Verdun, right? Is Verdun like a EAR violation?
Yeah. Yeah, and that 3D printed that 3D file is, claiming that'd be like giving a CNC machine a JPEG and trying to upload it. It'd be like, what? I can't do anything with this.
Yeah. What do you want? What cutter and where do you want me to put the cutter?
Yes. It literally, like if you tried to put in a cat picture chat in a CNC machine and you tried to upload it in a thumb drive, it's going to be like, okay. But yes, a 3D file doesn't tell it anything.
Yeah.
And once again though, where is the fraud? How are you defrauding the government, or how are you because that's who you'd have to be defrauding. You're defrauding the Department of Commerce. How is this fraud? Where's the deception?
Fraud.
Yeah, well that was the other issue I had with this. There still is no fraud been demonstrated.
Right.
Breaking the law is not automatically fraud. Breaking the law is breaking the law, like when you fucking have an Iranian server. That's just breaking the law. That's not fraud. That's just sanction busting, which
it's like, hey, cool. I wish those sanctions didn't exist. But Iran? Like, really?
Yeah.
That's the hill?
Cody, it's like, I want to help the caliphate. I want to help the Ayatollah.
Yeah.
I think he's got some good ideas.
That's nice.
Yeah. So the counter defendants used interstate wire communications extensively in executing their scheme, including, what? Dissemination of false statements via social media. Which statements?
Regularly posted defamatory.
Yes. And defamatory statements, how is that defrauding? How are you defrauding someone by making a defamatory statement?
Solicitation of illegal transactions via email.
Yeah, and how is this defrauding?
Yeah,
you're like even like none of this. I'm not saying any of it's true, but you have guys, fraud involves deception.
Yeah,
and there's no deception.
Wire fraud. I don't like how they did it.
Yes, that's literally what they're saying. And that was the whole point here. The defendants facilitated transactions involving CAD files for firearms receivers, knowing they were subject to export control. Okay, that's not fraud. That's not fraud. Remember, Chad, fraud involves deception. Like you're getting at, like you paid me for the CAD files, and instead I sent you a picture of a horse fucking a guy to death. That would be fraud.
That is fraud. That's a classic fraud case.
That's 100% fraud. If you give me money and I give you what you asked for, that's not fraud. That might be other crimes, but that's not fraud. Mofolk says, wait, are his email servers also in Iran? I don't know, but I'm sure he's probably got a lot of information on those servers. He probably just doesn't have like one thing. He's probably got a lot of things on there. So, Checo's out in Q1. Oh, fuck. Well, that sucks.
What is that?
Sorry. They're doing the Las Vegas Grand Prix qualifying tonight.
Oh.
So, yeah, they're racing tomorrow night at 1 a.m. So, Johnny says, I don't know. He uses Gmail. Yeah. And he hosts DEFCAD internationally, not just Iran. Yeah, which it's
I think there's a German server too.
Yeah, and that's going to be an ITAR regulated issue too, chat. Even
Yeah.
even
Well,
if
that would be EAR and
Yeah.
ITAR, but not necessarily sanctioned.
Well, we don't. Well, we haven't had beef with Germany for a long time. So
Yeah. So probably not sanctioned. Yeah.
for now,
Times
Yes.
are changing.
yeah, you can respond back like, and you know about Germany, Judge. You get a Jewish judge, you'd be like, listen, Judge.
We have a nice FedSoc judge. Nice
Okay.
FedSoc lady judge.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she won't tolerate this. The facilitation of unlawful transfers of controlled data. Okay. According to the transfer of the data through firearms through online communication channels, directing users to download the files from encrypted storage links. Okay, that's
intent to fraud. Maybe there it is. Maybe it's there.
yeah, and spoiler chat, it's not here. The specific intent to defraud. Okay, as demonstrated by the coordinated efforts to spread false information about DEFCAD. Okay,
Where was the
that's
false?
still not misleading customers. That could be fraud. That could be fraud.
Yeah.
Because now
Show
there's some deception. But facilitating illegal transactions, that's not fraud.
But also misleading customers as to what?
Yeah. Like, what were you misleading them to? And, how is there any pecuniary gain, really?
Right.
Because if you're just talking shit about somebody, that's just defamation, possibly. Like, there has to be, like, loss and gain. Otherwise, it's not really fraud.
Mhm.
Now, you might be an idiot and have a shitty fraud plan. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
But if there's literally no, like, there's, remember, guys, you have to be specific, and there's no
Right.
specifics here. This is
Harm.
The harm. The counter defendant's wire fraud scheme directly harmed defense distributed, resulting in loss of revenue. Okay. Caused a significant decline. How much? In the user engagement.
Show
and
us.
subscription sales. How much?
Yeah, no, the subscription sales loss and all that couldn't possibly be due to the fact that you started pumping weird Wignet authors in your like emails.
Yeah.
Couldn't possibly be anything to do with that. Or the fact that you were actively antagonizing the people who are actually responsible for the work that you're selling.
Yeah. And it's a competing platform. It's a competing platform that's free. Like, yes, oh no, like maybe people found out, wait, I can get this shit for free from the guys who actually made it? Oh, hell yeah. Reputational damage. Through the statements of false accusations and severely harmed DEFCAD's reputation. Like, what was false? The Wignet stuff? or your issues with the feds earlier in life? Like, which parts were fake? Or you're just an asshole? I mean, that's not defamation. Yeah, imagine that. It's difficult to maintain customers and attract business partners if people think you're a dick.
Yeah.
Increased legal and compliance cost. Okay, like you incurred some expenses investigating the false claims.
But you can't tell us what they are.
What false claims?
Yeah.
Why would you have to invest? And here's the thing: you're investigating false claims against yourself. Like, if you know they're false, you don't have to investigate them. That was the part of this I was really confused about. Whose false claims are you investigating?
My butt.
Yeah, I guess, but like, I didn't understand this one. What? Like, I don't understand what the fuck he's arguing here. Addressing user concerns and responding to regulatory inquiries prompted by the unlawful activities. Oh, really? Who got who? What regulatory agency got involved? So these wire fraud acts, once again, the particularity. What is the particularity? You're gonna have to say, show us. You have to show, and you haven't done it. These constitute predicate offenses. They don't. Extortion. And extortion includes the obtaining of property of another with his consent under the color of official right. So the extortion is by using threats of economic harm and public disparagement to coerce payments. The scheme of extortion. The scheme is by demanding payments under threats of economic harm and reputational damage. They further threaten to launch a campaign of disparagement against Cody, accusing the company of collaborating with federal law enforcement agencies and leaking user data. Well, I mean, is that really false?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying here, it doesn't seem like it was. It doesn't seem like it was. I'm just...
Oh, and also the use of fear of economic loss, you can tell that whoever drafted this read 1/4 of one case in the 11th Circuit about RICO allegations.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of the leading cases for this are you cannot just assert that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Mom's Right Really says, I know you have a windmill of friendship flag in your house. I mean, I've got a replica potato masher. And then in the back, I've got defense glass from 1941 manufacturer when they had aluminum bodies still. So, yeah, I've got some stuff. I dabble a little bit. And, I shouldn't, and I'm still glad that I don't think there's pictures of when I did a independent study in the 6th grade. And I did it about German U-boats. And my mom made me this banger German U-boat commander uniform. And she got me a suit jacket, and she did
Move
all
on
the
with
work.
the damn complaint.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about this. Oh God, it was great. And she found me little badges on eBay that were authentic Nazi hat badges and shit.
I caught my wife burp talking at the dog earlier today.
Burp talking at the dog? Did the dog?
Yeah. I'll leave that right there. I take it back. I lied.
Oh. Okay, so the use of fear of economic loss. They all exploited the fear of economic loss to coerce payments. The threats of orchestrated chargebacks pose a direct threat to Cody. Given that the chargebacks could result in suspension or termination of merchant accounts, which it can, disrupting its ability to process payments that operates business effectively. Well, the catalog doesn't have that issue. I wonder why. It just gives the information away.
Is the catalog in the room with you right now?
Yes. The extortionate conduct affected interstate commerce by targeting DEFCAD's merchant accounts, which process payments from customers across the United States. The orchestrated chargebacks created significant financial disruption, causing harm to DEFCAD. Okay. The intent to extort, specific intent, is from a Satan Associates on the catalog's Rocket Chat server. If they don't pay up, we'll hit them where it hurts with chargebacks and public exposure. Well, you've said that, you better fucking have that, and I kind of have the feeling you don't have that as a comment. The harm to defense distributed, okay, yeah, it would be harm because he would lose revenue. A significant reduction in revenue. How much? You should be able to show.
He does put dollars and cents at one point.
Yeah. But right here, you should be showing it too. Right. Reputational damage. The public threats and disparaging statements undermined user trust and damages business relationships. Is that really what did it? Yeah, or once again, is it all the crazy shit? The legal and compliance cost. They incurred legal expenses in addressing fraudulent chargebacks and mitigating the damage caused by the counter-defendant's threats, including the cost of enhanced cybersecurity measures and legal representation to respond to extortionate demands. So, and this is where I've never heard any.
Our extortion lawyer.
Yeah. So he hired a lawyer to deal with the extortion. Okay, well, where's any documentation for that?
Yeah.
I hired a lawyer to help people extorting me. Well, what happened with it? Nothing. It's
You know what he did do?
What?
He started sending people like one of my friends did contract work for him years ago.
Yeah.
And Cody started sending him typewritten demands for a refund of like all of the work he had done years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Typewritten.
Typewritten.
This
like with a Corona typewriter.
Yes.
Like tink tink tink.
Like
tink.
you cannot. It was not printed on paper. It was typewritten.
What the fuck?
And it's just like that's so gay derogatory. Like,
yeah. What? Like, that's fucking insane.
It's he's really on his I don't know. There has to be, we have to come up with some kind of, fun word to describe like the, maniac spiral, some type of arc.
Yeah. That's fucking. I don't think I remember hearing about the typewriter part, but yeah, that
guy has posted it on Twitter.
Okay, I'll have to look for that, but it's like, oh, it's a stellar impression of a lolcow. Yeah, it is.
Wait, what? Oh,
it's a stellar impression of a lolcow. It's the stellar implosion of a lolcow. Yes.
Oh, stellar. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he the next Ted Kaczynski? No, Ted actually made good shit. Do not put him on the same level as Ted.
Business done, sorted.
Yeah, Ted, Uncle Ted, wasn't too wrong about a lot of things. His execution was probably, could be argued over, but he wasn't wrong about a lot of stuff.
You can put that up for just a second because look at that.
Which part?
I just linked it to you.
Oh, you sent me some. Okay, hold on here. Oh wait, I have seen this from. Oh yeah, this is what Tony put up. Yeah,
that's typewritten.
Yes.
How utterly bizarre is? Watch the top line.
Oh yeah. So there you go. Anyways, yeah, there you go. This is just look at that chat. It's a time warp. You type this while like Glenn Miller is in the background playing.
This is not like the behavior of a mentally stable person.
Yeah. That's not even on like a Scalextric or like the electric typewriter things.
No, that's like he's like,
yeah.
Oh no, I've got an idea. I'm like a hardened PI now. And then he went on Amazon and searched for real typewriter.
Ding. There's nothing wrong with the typewriter, Will. Like they're cool, but why did you just Times New Roman 12-point font and fucking send a letter? Like,
yeah. Well, it's like
Nick
nothing wrong with a cool typewriter, right? Like if you've got a Smith Corona or a Remington Rand or whatever, cool.
Yeah.
But like, don't be sending people threatening letters typewritten.
Yes.
That's just not cool.
No, that's not. And somebody said I'm breaking up here. Hold on. All right. Is that better, chat? Somebody said I'm breaking up. Send it by courier.
Yeah. No, he said you mean courier is because that's the
courier font. Yeah. And then yes. Hold on. Nick Kreuser's like that paper got fed in the typewriter askew. Well, that or he couldn't fold it right, and he just crooked on his folding. It's hard to tell. Yeah, typewriters really let you bang out that aggression.
Or you can just use an IBM Model F.
Yeah. You actually have to be careful with some typewriters. You can fucking ruin them by being too aggressive.
Yeah.
So, all right. So where are we? Oh, damn it. Why is this not? There we go. All right. So money laundering. Yes. So the money laundering. Yes. Money laundering is an attempted financial transaction involving proceeds of specified unlawful activity. With the knowledge the transaction involves the proceeds of unlawful activity, and with the knowledge the transaction is designed in whole or in part to conceal the nature, location, source, ownership, or control the proceeds of that activity. Money laundering is very basic, guys. It's, you're like, wow, that seems like it's easy for the feds to prove. Yes, it was written that way. I'm surprised that you guys weren't accused of like structuring as well, because that in tax evasion, because that's usually if you're money laundering, you're laundering the money because you can't afford to report it and get caught.
Right.
But so engaging in the extortion by intentionally transferring funds from the United States to foreign recipients to
Didn't
promote
happen, by the way.
activities. What?
Didn't happen.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, you're going to have to this is very specific, to violate ITAR and the EAR. In May 2021, they directed MAF Corp to send $2,500 to an account held by J Stark to fund the development of the ITAR-controlled firearms file FGC 9 Mark II. Once again, that is very fucking specific. When I read this, I'm like, that's very, very fucking specific. So I'd love to know how they think that happened, or how that all happened. The transfer aimed at facilitating the unrestricted export of technical data without proper licensing. Cody's got to be like having a fucking schizophrenic issue where he's thinking all this happened. I can't imagine. I don't know how he's coming up with all this.
I think I know what it is. It's sad, right? But
yeah,
he's probably can't comprehend that sometimes people are just friends and they hang out together.
Yeah.
Because the only experience he's probably had with people who hang around him are people he pays to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, that could be. But I guess it's just where he's like, oh, they sent $2,500 to Jay Stark, and I'm like, does he? This guy is so fucking unhinged. Like, this is Gingras going off of information given to him by Cody,
right?
And I just don't know how he fucking comes up with this. But anyways, going to Brazil, you guys are using cryptocurrency. And you're using dirty crypto. You're crypto fascist. In each of these respects, you guys acted with the intent to violate ITAR and EAR. Ivan, in particular, acknowledged a risk of prosecution, but stated that he and Matt will not face consequences. Well,
wait, what?
Because you're not doing anything illegal. These transfers harm defense distributed by diverting customers and damaging DEFCAD's reputation. The money laundering doesn't harm DEFCAD. And that was when I read this before, these don't harm DEFCAD. Money laundering does not harm DEFCAD. You've already harmed them, and now you're laundering and washing the proceeds of the harm under their theory. I don't understand how they make this argument. So this is a predicate offense. And once
obstruction of justice.
Yeah. But am I wrong in reading this, how they're trying to make the argument?
I think that Gingras thinks that if he can, here's the only way this makes sense. Yeah. Gingras thinks that if he can just point to things that he thinks are crimes, that's a pattern of racketeering.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not the case. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that, but I'm just saying these legal transfers harm defense distributed. Yeah, that was already something else you guys did.
I don't think he understands that it has to that the action has to harm defense distributed.
Yeah, it does. But you're in the money laundering section.
Right.
Money laundering is a separate act. You've already done the illegal act. Now you're covering it up.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think whoever drafted this understands that the predicate act, has to be related to them.
Yeah. So, anyways, these actions were integral. Okay, yeah. Obstruction of justice. So you have to knowingly and intentionally undertake an action in which an obstruction of justice was a reasonable result. So they must establish the conduct was motivated in part by a corrupt motive. Okay, well, what was the corrupt motive here? By destroying records of communications related to their unlawful activities, after receiving litigation hold notices, was impairing the availability of evidence. Well, you're going to have to prove that, and once again, you probably won't. The litigation hold notice issued. Cody served a litigation hold notice on the counter defendants, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Instructing them to preserve all relevant records, including chat logs, social media posts, financial transaction records. These materials are likely to be relevant. Okay, well, destruction of records by Celentano. Despite receiving the notice, Celentano, the key administrator of the catalog on the Rocket Chat server, deleted his entire chat history, social media accounts, and other communications related to the enterprise's activities. This deletion occurred within hours of receiving the litigation hold notice. I'm going to call bullshit on that.
You're right. I'm going to get some cheese.
Coordinated spoliation by Matt and Ivan. Matt's not here to defend himself, chat. These are probably true. Ivan and Matt further coordinated the destruction of digital records, instructed members to delete or hide the messages, and then Ivan writes his Reddit comment history. Well, deleting your Reddit's never a bad idea. Locking his Twitter account and removing posts implicating the enterprise in illegal activities. Sellers saying, even if all this is true, why is it his business? Well, when you put out a litigation hold notice and you destroy all this evidence, depending on how things go in the case, that can actually be used as an inference against you that the jury could say, the court will, you'll be able to tell the jury, ladies and gentlemen, they destroyed evidence. We asked for them to hold on to it and they destroyed it. Therefore, they're probably guilty. And you could infer they're liable. They did something wrong. So, but you've got to demonstrate all this. And they don't. They can't. So the intent, they engage in these acts of destruction with the intent to obstruct justice by concealing evidence of wire fraud, money laundering, and violations of federal export laws. It's to impede Cody from his ability to gather evidence and pursue legal claims. And that's the purpose of the litigation hold letter, is saying don't delete stuff because we're looking to file action. In private messages obtained from remaining records, Ivan acknowledged the litigation hold notice and discussed with Matt the need to clean up the Rocket Chat server and delete sensitive communications. Have fun fucking... I can't wait for you to show us that, Cody. And what was the harm? The harm was impairing legal proceedings. Once again, he's going to say, I can't present a full and complete case because now I have to do costly forensic efforts to recover deleted evidence. Increased legal cost with the spoliation of evidence. Okay, and that's true. That is a thing. Destroying and ruining evidence is a problem.
So he's saying he hired forensic experts?
Yeah.
Who, it's interesting that he hired forensic experts and then still couldn't point to anything.
Yeah, and also instead of hiring forensic experts, like you could subpoena Rocket Chat.
Right.
Like there's, like forensic experts, like how you got onto the server and like did that? Like how did you?
Yeah.
That's the bigger issue there, because a forensic expert can't do anything unless they're in the system. And Rocket Chat's not going to let you fucking wander around in their thing.
Right. I don't know anything about that.
Well, I'm just saying that company wouldn't just let some random Yahoo say, like, I want to go after the bad men. They'd be like, serve us with a subpoena or fuck off.
Yeah.
And then they'd probably fight that. So, the CFAA, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. You guys did your hacking. So the hacking was done. Let's see here. Will they get to it? These acts of computer fraud and
wait, yeah, where I don't think he actually.
Yeah, he doesn't say. And here's the thing:
he's just alleging the EAR violations again.
Yeah. So the defendants violated and are violating 18 USC by knowingly accessing DEFCAD without authorization to obtain and illegally distribute digital firearms information that is subject to the Commerce Department's EAR regime and the ITAR regime, and a license issued by the State Department to Defense Distributed alone. Which license? Which license was given to the Defense Distributed?
They did have a license for a short period of time during that whole,
yeah, during that whole nonsense. But what license? The access files are information that has been determined by the United States
The
government. Yeah. To require protection against unauthorized disclosure for reasons of national defense or foreign relations. Okay, yeah. Okay, please show us. And once again, you're alleging fraud, computer fraud. You got to show some particularity. What was the computer fraud? Because here you say, yes, they, without authorization, access the files. Did they deceive anyone? I don't see anything about deception. Where's the computer fraud? They don't show it. On the threat of murder. So the threat of murder is the threat of physical violence against Cody Wilson. On November 7th, a Get-Along member acting as an agent of the enterprise sent a message to Cody Wilson via his DEFCAD account that contained a direct and explicit threat of physical violence entailing murder. The message stated, Cody, you realize there's a bounty on your head, right? To clarify, I didn't put it out, and I'm not going to claim it. I just want to let you know that it's shit like this that is a reason you have a bounty on you. Have fun sleeping tonight with this information.
What's the bounty?
Yeah, what is the bounty? Matt, can I collect this bounty?
I don't know what the bounty is.
Oh.
I've never seen it
Well, he
because
says
it's
you did.
imaginary.
He says you do.
Oh.
He says you do. Oh, and
Well, I'd
Bad
love
Brother
to see the evidence.
Yeah. Bad Brother Biker says, I bought a number 4 Mark 1 Long Branch Enfield for myself yesterday. It was an early Christmas present. Very nice.
I like the number 4. I have a Long Branch as well. They're I can't say they're a good gun because I sat down with Ivan and we really looked at the engineering inside of them. Yeah. But I like the way they shoot and I enjoy shooting them.
Is it did you guys do a Fuddbusters on it?
No.
Oh.
But we did, like, we were working on one.
Okay.
And we just looked at the way the receiver made and it's pretty fucking stupid.
If you guys aren't aware, Long Branch is made in Canada. Canada made their own Enfields.
I
have a number 1 Mark III Star.
You got a smelly. You're a smelly boy.
Yeah, it's an actual Enfield one too.
I have a number 1 Mark V Trials rifle, which I love. It's like a smelly with a aperture rear sight on the receiver. Like,
oh god, that actually would be very nice.
Yeah.
God, the sights. That's
I was about to ask Sam to hand it to me, but I can't because you do.
The sights fucking suck.
Yeah.
On the smelly. But yes. Okay, so the Get-Along member's reference to bounty on your head is an explicit indication of a credible threat of violence, suggesting Cody's being targeted for a potential act of physical harm. It's suggesting, okay. The language in the message was calculated to instill fear, implying that others are seeking to harm Cody and that his safety is at risk. Okay. The intent to coerce, intimidate by disrupting his business, having fun sleep tonight. They sought to cause psychological distress. This constitutes a crime of violence.
I like how this person isn't named.
Yeah. The threat and use of physical force against the individual. Yeah. There should be a username in here somewhere. The username of what? What was the email address?
The agent.
Yes. The connection to Get-Along. The threat made against Cody was not an isolated part, but a broader pattern of intimidation tactics. The counter-defendants, including key figures such as Ivan and Matt, have fostered a culture of hostility against Defense Distributed. Yes, that part's true, but not threat.
We haven't.
Oh, well, I would argue. Well, I would say like fuck him.
Well, he's the one who's like made racist caricatures of me and things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think it's
And by the way, in his actual answer, he did admit that the caricature was a racist one of myself, which is kind of funny.
So he admits to committing a racist.
Just did a one-line admit to that allegation.
Okay, well. So using members' online community to issue threats and harass DEFCAD leadership. It's just Cody. Who is this leadership in DEFCAD?
Right.
The threatening message was consistent with the enterprise's ongoing efforts to intimidate and coerce DEFCAD into abandoning its lawful business operations. You mean the ones in Iran? We're talking about being lawful.
Right.
The catalog has previously engaged in similar acts of intimidation against individuals associated with DEFCAD, including campaigns of online harassment, doxing, and threats of legal action. Citation needed.
Right.
The threat made on November 7th is part of this ongoing pattern of racketeering activity designed to instill fear. Well, fuck off. The director of violence caused substantial harm to Cody, including personal safety. The reference in the bounty caused him to take additional security precautions because Cody's not allowed to own guns.
Well, yes, he is.
Oh, he is now?
Yeah.
I thought he couldn't.
He completed the...
Oh, he did? Okay. Well, he's got guns. Who fucking cares? Use your gun, Cody. The threat of violence against Wilson disrupted the normal business operations and defense distributed. How so? He was forced to divert time and resources to address security concerns and ensure the safety of himself and his employees. Who threatened his employees? It was just Cody.
He just says it again in the next paragraph too. Increased security costs.
Yeah, the increased security costs. Like what? What did you do? Security measures and consultations with legal advisors. What security measures? Like everybody carry a gun. I'm sure everybody that works there is strapped. So, but once again, this is a threat against Cody. Why do his employees matter? Or is he going to make his employees dress up like him and walk around like body doubles? I don't get it. The threat of murder, and yeah, threatening murder is not a predicate.
Mm.
I mean, it's not. There's a specific list of things. It's not a pattern of racketeering activity. Threats and intimidation are not part of that. The threat also qualifies as a violent crime in aid of racketeering that is indictable under 18 U.S.C. 1959, which criminalizes anyone who is a consideration for receipt of or is consideration for a promise or agreement to pay anything of pecuniary value from an enterprise engaged in racketeering for the purpose of gaining interest or maintaining or increasing position in enterprise with kidnapping, murder, maims assaults with a dangerous weapon, commits assaults, basically doing murder or crime for hire as a furtherance of a conspiracy. Because this counterclaim is meritorious. Yes, that's a great legal conclusion.
Yeah.
They're entitled to the following: a restraining order. By ordering Matt and everybody to divest themselves of any interest in the accounts of businesses holding assets of the catalog. Not that leave me alone, but you need to go out of business.
Yeah.
That's the only way to protect me. That one, when I read that, I'm like, I don't know.
That's not a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I don't think I've ever heard of that ever happening. So, and this one too, a restraining order that restricts reasonable restrictions on the activities or investments of the co-defendants, but prohibiting them from engaging in the same type of endeavor as the enterprise engaged in. Once again, that's not a thing. An order that restrains or prevents further violations of the law by reorganizing the catalog. Yeah, no, that's not happening. An order dissolving the catalog. Okay. I want the ghost to go away.
Yeah, make it stop. Make it stop.
Yeah, spooky ghost. I'll mail you a Bible, Cody. That'll make the ghost go away. I'm an award of threefold damages for the damages sustained. Yeah, not going to happen. An award of the cost of this suit, including reasonable attorney's fees, not going to happen. All this pleading paragraphs.
Yeah, that's an important.
Yeah.
You cannot incorporate the entirety of a complaint into a single paragraph.
Yeah, you have to
do
do
the usual sin people do is at the beginning of a claim,
yeah,
let's say repeat and reallege. This is even worse.
Yeah, well, but the way the thing is also like every time you have a different course of action, so all these other RICO things, you would say we reincorporate all those paragraphs as herein.
Right.
You'd break it down like that, yes. But coming to the end, and I didn't see that the first time I was reading through it. I kind of skipped over it. Holy shit, yeah. It's like he forgot to do it
Yeah.
halfway through.
And then he does that for every claim.
Yeah. And then the Lanham Act claims. And the guys, it's and here's where I don't understand how they articulate this. The EAR violations. By willfully violating the EAR, by files are ready for insertion, okay. But where is the Lanham Act violation here? And then the false statements regarding compliance. It's still not clear where there's a Lanham Act violation. This is literally not relevant. Like, what does this prove? I mean, like, I don't like if this were to survive or legit, you could argue like to strike this. It's not relevant to a Lanham Act claim.
Right.
Misadvertising campaign, strike.
I don't even think it's worth it to go through all of this and move the strike. I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I agree. Toss it. But like this right here might be the first thing, a fraudulent copyright claim.
Yeah.
You guys filed fraudulent copyright registrations for the firearms files already publicly available under open source licenses.
Yeah. What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
I made those.
Yeah.
They were not publicly available.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, no, you released them.
Yeah.
Where were they publicly available? These false claims were used as a basis to demand and rule the files for DEFCAD. Misleading consumers about the ownership and licensing status of the files. Okay, well, who is the owner of them, Cody? Like, that's the thing. You're going to have to show, no, I made this. That's that meme. It's literally that meme. I made this.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. And then the reputation as a legit platform for legal distribution of digital firearms files. I don't think there is somebody who damaged their reputation with DEFCAD. I can tell you where you could find the guy. His name's Cody Wilson. Cody, that's David Gingras. You need to go sue a guy named Cody Wilson. He ruined DEFCAD. Go find him. Serve him.
Get him, Gingras.
Yeah, but I read this before and I'm like, these are have nothing to do with it. And this is the only part that does a little bit. The false and misleading statements were material to deceive. So
It's
like
just
once
not,
again,
and also you have to say what subpart of the Lanham Act
Yes.
you're proceeding under.
Yes, and remember, Chad, again, this is fraud. What was fraudulent specifically? The FedCAD meme. Yes. He even admits it's a meme.
Right.
Which shows like they acknowledge this is done in jest. Like that's the acknowledgement of what a meme is. Like literally the definition of a meme. These memes and statements were designed to mislead customers into believing that DEFCAD was unsafe and untrustworthy. Well, I mean, I know you're not going to say it, but I would argue that's kind of true. Causing direct harm to DEFCAD's business reputation and resulting in significant loss of customers and market share. Okay. The false advertising also caused confusion among users and partners, leading to mistakenly believe that DEFCAD was engaged in unethical or illegal conduct. Well, no, your complaint has established that you're engaged in, conduct in Iran. Johnny says, notice he never says calling Cody a pedophile isn't defamatory.
Right.
Yeah. Curious, isn't it? Yes. Just a little bit. It makes you think. And the catalog, which benefited directly from the false statements. How did catalog benefit? What did they gain? Like, because they don't make any money off the catalog. Like, I download the file.
Right.
Okay. How did you gain? The counter-defense false advertising misleading statements were disseminated through interstate commerce. Yeah, but I still don't see the fraud here or parts of the Lanham Act. Now, I mean, they argue there's unfair competition under the Lanham Act.
Right, but like you can't just you have to state the elements first.
Yeah, and you have to which part of the Lanham Act?
Yeah.
But like that's the closest they get. When I was reading this before, I'm like, I don't get where you're going with this. They pass off DEFCAD's products and services as their own by falsely representing DEFCAD's 3D firearms files as
What the
proprietary.
fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, well, I understand what they're saying here. That they're claiming you passed off DEFCAD stuff as your own proprietary stuff.
What?
They're claiming that
But they don't like. What have they developed? What single thing have they made?
Yeah, what is like? It's proprietary. Well, did you make like once again? I think he's saying I made this.
If he says that, that's going to be really funny because there's some surprises.
Well, that's what I think he's trying to say. When I read this before, I understood this as the 3D files and all of that. That's his proprietary stuff. I made it. It's proprietary to me. Because I think this is meant to be like a comma, but the problem is this is like a fucking massive sentence.
Right.
Because it says by fraudulently doing this, that was meant to be like comma by fraudulently filing copyright restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
You guys engaged in reverse engineering, reverse passing off. And that's where I think the reverse passing off part goes up here.
Right.
That's kind of how I understood it. I'm trying to figure it out the best I can. And that's why some of this isn't good. Anyways, the lost revenue, yeah, you didn't lose shit. Damaged reputation, okay. Costs and legal fees. Legal fees for addressing fraudulent copyright claims. Have you been told that he's challenged them in the Copyright Office? Like, has he tried to challenge these in the Copyright Office at all, or is he like arguing here? This is the cost for copyright claims.
I mean, it would have been filed if he. I'm pretty sure it would have been filed if he was contesting the registrations.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, he's not
Right.
the legal fees for addressing the fraudulent claims. Where?
I do know he sent like. Well, anyway, no, I'm not aware of that. I do know he sent a bunch of like FOIAs to the Copyright Office about my registrations for some fucking reason. And the only reason I know about that is because he bragged about it on his blog.
Oh, well, the other thing you can do that's neat is you can get a FOIA about people at FOIA things. So that's the neat part. That's the only problem about a FOIA when you do it. You leave a paper trail that people could FOIA.
Yeah.
But no, like, you didn't address them. So you challenge the copyright because you can do that. You can challenge a registration. But I don't see where he did any of this unless he's arguing this is the challenging, but I don't. Still stupid. The counterclaim is meritorious. They want a permanent injunction. So you can't say bad things about Defense Distributed.
Yeah.
Its business practices are requiring them to retract any false or misleading statements previously made. An injunction ordering them to engage in corrective advertising and take down the FedCAD campaign. Oh, disgorge any profits gained as a result of their false advertising. Yeah, because the catalog is just raking in cash. And an award of cost of this action, including reasonable attorney's fees pursuant to 15 USC 111178. Now, actually, I have a question, Matt. When Cody's selling his hitchhiker, does he sell parts too?
I didn't. He has a website that sells parts, but not for that.
Okay. So, because that's where I'm like, okay, well, what profits did anybody make off the hitchhiker? Like, you didn't have those, so those aren't profits you were entitled to. Like, people downloaded the stuff, and like, I'm just trying to argue, like, how could he make any argument to disgorging profits? There's no profits to disgorge.
There's a reason that.
No, I understand. I said I was trying to like, how can they like? I understand it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to like figure. I spent time trying to understand what they're doing here.
What they're doing is being silly gooses, just being a little bit silly. I think
I get that, but I was just like, the Computer Fraud Abuse Act, and this is the thing I think is stupid. They're going through all this again. So the hacking and the DDoS attacks, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. The legal costs were pursuing unauthorized access and defending against the false claims. Okay. The damages resulting in this exceed $5,000, which is the threshold under under federal law.
Right.
Because of this counterclaim, they want actual damages for the losses occurred, an injunction preventing them from ever accessing DEFCAD servers or engaging in unauthorized computer activity, punitive damages, and the cost of the action. The DCMA, they want this too. Now, it's funny, we didn't see the DMCA at all earlier. I don't think I recall seeing it earlier.
Yeah.
Did I miss? Okay, I must.
No, they didn't. But yeah, fraudulent DMCA notices. We never did that because they're not a platform. Like I know that they wanted to suggest that they are, but they're not.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the thing here. You know, like DEFCAD was forced to temporarily remove the affected files.
But why didn't he say when he got a DMCA notice?
Yeah, but more importantly, who would you have done the DMCA notice to? What platform? Unless he's arguing he's a platform, but then he doesn't have to do it because he can say, fuck you, it's not legit.
Well, that's the whole thing with DMCA is that it is for platforms.
Well, yeah, but what platform is he arguing you guys went to?
No, I think he'd be arguing that he's a platform, which he's obviously not. He's also like, you know, in some of his writing, which I've had the displeasure of reading, he indicate, you know, in his little black flag white paper thing where he just fundamentally misunderstands how IP works. He seems to assert that he thinks he's a library, which is retarded.
Oh, is this in his like manifesto?
Yeah, his little manifesto. Yeah.
Okay, because wait. If he's a library, he'd be protected. I'm pretty sure the DMCA has like exceptions for the library. Anyway.
So the library exception is very specific.
Yeah,
it's for you can copy a work, you know, a book when it is not otherwise, you know, reasonably available.
Yeah.
So that's just obviously not the case for any of my works. It's just retarded. Like and Cody is like, you know, I used to actually like really respect the guy right back in the beginning. And I'm sure a lot of people did. But
yeah, he was like, it was pretty cool.
Well, even back when I first started my career, I noticed like the way, because I followed him, I noticed the way that he would talk about legal stuff made it very clear that he would only read like the title of a section.
Yeah.
And never any of its material.
Mm.
So I think that's probably what's still going on here. He's probably like, we'll parse a statute, see, oh, libraries are exempt, and then close it. Right?
Yeah.
Which is not how we do that.
No, it's not.
Right?
But like I'm reading this though. I mean, like, because I guess here's when I read this before.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what he was getting at. Now you explained he considered himself the platform.
Right.
If he's the platform, like let's say I'm running a platform, a file hosting thing, and I'm doing my own stuff on it too.
Right.
And you serve me with a DMCA notice that I think is bullshit. I think I can avoid. I refuse to do it because I can say I think you're fraudulent.
Well, when you're a platform, what you do is you notify the person who uploaded it. But
yes,
here the problem is that he uploaded my work.
Yeah. So he's notifying himself, and he could say, "Well, this is bullshit."
But how could he do that when he's the one who uploaded the work that he didn't make?
Yeah. Well, but that's where I'm thinking. Well, I'm trying to say he can argue it's fraudulent.
Oh, you're saying, yeah. What costs would he incur?
Yeah. If
denying the take.
Yeah. If I'm running SeanTube and I start putting up the hitchhiker, and then you say, Sean, take it down. I'm like, well, no, fuck you. I put it up. I know it's good. Fuck you. And
right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand. Like, there's no fucking. You're temporarily removing the files. Like, are you acknowledging that they're fraudulent then? Like, you didn't have the right to have it?
Right.
Because otherwise you're saying another platform served it, but there's no other. Who's your platformer?
Because the funny thing is, he had a thing where it said, he has a thing on his website where you can like claim ownership or like request something be taken down, but it requires you have an account.
Yeah.
And you have to pay to make an account. So how does that fucking make sense?
Yes, and mofo, Clyde Tube is not superior to Sean Tube. He is a good boy, though. No, I just did, like, some of this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Hmm.
And, like, the costs incurred in challenging fraudulent DMCA notices. Where? These claims cast out on DEFCAD's legal compliance? Well, this complaint cast out on their legal compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they want DMCA awards of damages, a permanent injunction,
Right.
preventing
All the
submitting,
same shit, really.
yeah, preventing fraudulent takedown notices.
And then look at 241.
Yeah, all this other pleadings are incorporated herein again. Oh God, did he do that again above this?
So look what yes,
He did it 232. Oh,
all of this pleading's other paragraphs are incorporated.
ooh.
Here.
Oof. Now you could say instead, if you were going to do this the right way, chat, you would go to paragraphs 220, like, you know, because you've already incorporated them again here. You've
Right.
already done that. You would say
cannot do that
Yeah.
in the 11th Circuit, though. You
no,
cannot.
you can't. But like, if you then moved on to the next thing here, Part D, you would say from 223 to 232 are incorporated.
Well,
here.
you still can't because
Yeah.
you can't in a DMCA act include your RICO allegations. That is against the rules.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I'm just saying if you're trying to make like incorporating paragraphs,
Right.
that's how you would do it. Like you break it down.
Well,
into
honestly, if
sections.
you want to look at how to do it, look at how we did it in our complaint.
Yes.
Because it was surgical. Here, hold on.
Yeah.
Just so the chat can like see.
Yes. Here. Yes. It's kind of like when we compare Nick's complaint: good work, shitty work.
Right.
It's like Boondock Saints: good shooting, shitty shooting.
Yeah. Here, look at. I'm set.
Yeah.
Sent
Where
it.
is? Yeah. Here we go.
And look at the length of the sentences here.
Yes. All right, chat. This is the one we already went over this before, but this
Right.
is the one from Matt put together here. So we're going to get to let's see here. Let's see. Let's find a spot where you do this.
It'll be at the beginning of any of the causes of action.
Yeah, we're going to get to the fact.
Page 35.
What page? 36. Yeah, so here you go. You get to page 35. Here you go. Plaintiff repeats and realleges all paragraphs concerning defendant Wilson's and entity's copying of the registered works. And specifically, and you say out like, look, I'm saying specifically these paragraphs and 61 through 79. So it's a very limited scope thing here, but it's also you're laying out why you're doing it and what does it
Right.
relate to this. And then your next cause of action. You do that a couple times, but yeah, it's done very well. And it's not retarded how you do it.
Yeah, the next cause of action is on 47.
Did I go too far? Yeah, here you go. Plaintiff repeats and see, guys, he does this here. You don't need all the paragraphs. You only need certain ones. So yes, there's a good shooting, and then here's shitty shooting. So let's get to where were we at here? Okay, hold on. We're getting through this. Where do we go? Oh, tortious interference.
Right.
Okay, so they're basically arguing all the things they've done so far are tortious interference. So these were and still once again, Ivan and Control. Like, did Control Pew ever have any association with Cody?
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, like the Ivan thing, like his paid agents and collaborators. Okay. This inside knowledge provided them with information about DEFCAD's user base, contributors, and commercial partners. They intentionally interfered with the relationships. Yeah, I don't think so, there, buddy.
Oh yeah, it's just they're repeating all this.
It's all repeating all the same shit again, and that's the other issue. You could save time in here, but they didn't do it. Trade libel. Trade libel here. So they accuse accusation of collusion with federal authorities. Well, it's falsely claimed that DEFCAD was sharing user data with federal law enforcement agencies and cooperating with anti-gun organizations to dox its users. These statements were publicly made on social media in the widely circulated FedCAD meme. The allegations of security breaches, yes, that they haven't been hacked. Well, and then the fraudulent copyright claims. Now, claiming Matt and Ivan falsely asserted ownership of certain 3D firearms files that were publicly available. Once again, where did you find these? Where did you find these? So, the loss of customers and revenue, guys, all the same stuff again. Then Florida, the Deceptive Unfair Trade Practices Act, the FUPA.
It's a very powerful law.
Did you allege this in your complaint? I forget.
I don't remember.
So this is a counterclaim there. Unfair methods of competition, unconscionable acts or practices, and unfair or deceptive acts or practices in the conduct of any trade or commerce. And deceptive acts are practices likely to mislead a customer acting reasonably, while those are What's that?
I did not.
Well, you have.
Yeah, no, I was just checking. No, we didn't bring up the FDUTPA.
Did somebody just ask about that?
Yeah, we did not.
Hold on here. Oh yeah, no, Ellie, I think we covered this. Yeah, the Torsats guy pled out to all kinds of shit. Yep. I think there was another one that got picked up, but yes, the Torswats kind of gotten fucked over. Unfair practice are those that offend established public policy or unethical, oppressive, unscrupulous, or substantially injurious to consumers. It's violated here because the counter defendants engage in a pattern of deceptive and unfair practices that caused harm to Cody. Okay. Well, that's a pretty. You said this is a pretty stout law.
Yeah. If you're a Florida business.
Oh, really? Okay. So, the counter defendants have engaged in the EAR violations. How's that a deceptive trade practice? Established public policy, I guess. But why wouldn't they just say violating the law? I mean, really, I think I don't know.
Well, there's two problems. One, we didn't break the law. Two, like if you're going to allege, you know what? I'm not going to counsel them on how to use FDUTPA because I know how to use it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we'll just ready for insertion for manufacturing machines.
Right.
Once again, like I don't.
Well, it's like according to who?
Yeah, but still, I don't understand how
alleged that they were ready for insertion.
And I don't understand how a law violation. Once again, it doesn't say it's an unfair practice, unless there's case law for it. But they don't even cite that.
Right.
The FedCAD meme. Oh, it hurts your pussy. The FedCAD meme falsely alleged that DEFCAD was colluding with federal law enforcement agencies and anti-gun organizations to monitor and identify users. This misled consumers and diverted business to the catalog. Once again, how were you guys making money off that? Like, you're going to have to show that, and you can't. Misrepresentation and legal compliance. That DEFCAD was violating federal export control laws of data privacy regulations. Well, the export control laws appear to have been violated. I'm just saying.
I don't think we ever made that allegation, though.
No, I know, but they did here, so it's...
Yeah.
Now it's been made. These reputations were intended to deceive consumers about the legality and safety of using DEFCAD's platform, steering customers away from DEFCAD and toward the catalog's competing services. In addition to their acts, they did market manipulation through coercion and extortion. Threatening the chargebacks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same shit again and again.
Destruction of evidence. Yeah. False copyright claims. As a direct result, there was a loss of revenue. Once again, the DMCA shit is not That's not going to work. Reputational harm, increased legal compliance. So they want actual damages. They want a declaratory judgment, a permanent injunction. Oh, God, a permanent injunction. A permanent injunction. They want all kinds of... They want you to be no-node forever. They want you to not do all the things.
Right.
They want the ghost not to be spooky anymore.
Put it under the bed.
Yes. He needs to go away. When I pull my covers down, he has to be gone.
And all of this pleading's other paragraphs are incorporated herein.
God, this is fucking insane. This is the one I'm like, this is not a cause of action. I don't see, like, defense brings in a civil action for spoliation under the federal rules of civil procedure and the rules of evidence. I don't see how this alone is a claim. I didn't bother checking these, but still, I just don't see how it itself is a claim of action.
I can see how it could be if you could prove, like, damages, relating to the inability to prove a certain element in a civil action that you had already won.
Yeah.
Right? But
I think that would just be when you're proving your damages, period, for your other causes of action.
Yeah. So I don't know how it could be independent. I mean, maybe if there's like cross claims and things going on, maybe in contribution, right? Like, I don't know.
I know that, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, you're going to argue spoliation is, my claim for a conversion. Well, Matt destroyed all the evidence I could have used, Your Honor. So sanction, like, you're basically that's a sanction at that point.
Right.
I just this counterclaim is asserted against all counter defendants. Okay.
Yeah,
they knew they had an obligation to preserve evidence. Okay. The evidence was highly materialist actions counterclaims. Well, how do you know what it is?
Right.
The absence is highly prejudicial. No, I'd almost argue this would basically what they're arguing. You would have to argue what it is.
Right.
And now it's like, I'd argue this isn't fraud, but there should be a specificity here. Like, well, what are you accusing me of getting rid of?
Right.
But yes, they want an order establishing adverse inferences against the catalog to each issue the spoliated evidence pertain to. Well, and here's the other problem. You don't, it doesn't say where. So I'd argue this is defective because you aren't saying, well, what was spoliated? Because notice they don't reincorporate things. They're arguing it here, but that doesn't help me or tell me.
Right. Well, at the end of that one, they also incorporate the entire complaint again.
Yeah, which I don't think that would work here. Because, and that's the other problem. They talk about spoliating evidence, but like paragraph 1 has nothing to do with spoliating evidence.
Right.
Once again, this is where you would have gone through and been like, boop, 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 and then done. So they want a defense. They want DEFCAD to counter, all actions pled in the counterclaim, compensatory damages, an award of actual damages amount to determine at trial, but no less than $385,000 of losses calculated for the period of June 2023 to the present. I would love to see the fucking math on that one.
Mm-hmm.
An award of treble damages pursuant to the RICO statute and also the Lanham Act in an amount to be determined at trial, but no less than $1.15 million for the period of June 2023 to present. Okay, that's not happening. Punitive damages, disgorgement, forcing them to surrender profits. Still, what profits? Injunctive relief, enjoining them from committing illegal actions. I mean, the law does that normally. Tell them they can't break the law. Okay.
The court goes, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I've seen that in complaints before. Like, they want injunctive relief for that. It's like, Your Honor, tell them not to break the law.
Yeah, Congress already did. Thanks.
Yes. Don't break the law, Matt. Keep doing what you're doing, not breaking the law. Being a good boy. Disillusion. They want to dissolve the catalog enterprise and its entities, or an order imposing reasonable restrictions on their future activities to prevent further unlawful conduct. Yeah, it ain't happening. This is not gonna. Never will fucking happen. Of all the things that are going to happen, this is not one of them. That's number 1 on the list. They want costs, attorney's fees, interest, and then spoliation in order that remedies their willful and bad faith spoliation of evidence by entering a default judgment, which that's a sanction. Default judgment is a sanction if you
And it's
you
like
do
the
something else.
highest sanction possible.
Yes. That's what happened to Alex Jones, and the court said, you lose.
Right.
That is, yeah. Any other relief deemed just and proper.
What happened to Alex Jones, who was represented by somebody on the signature page here?
Oh,
And then the answer is just terrible. I mean,
hold on here. I gotta see who this. Well, don't tell me it's Norm Pattis. Oh, okay. No, it was Chad
Reynal.
Flores, right?
No, Reynal. I think.
Reynal?
I don't know. Reynal or Flores, one of them.
Okay.
I think it was. I don't know.
Mhm.
I do not know.
So,
But go up to the affirmative defenses. This is my favorite part.
all right, hold on here. Well,
Wait, no, it's down. It's at the bottom of the answer.
the bottom. Okay. Defenses here. The defenses are defeated by the defense of estoppel.
One sentence affirmative defense.
Yeah.
Hilariously against the rules.
Yeah.
The defense of fraud.
The
Not
defense of fraud. Once again, you need to plead a particularity.
Yeah.
They have it like once again. There's no
And all the
particularity
rents.
there.
Illegality, latches, license, payment, release, waiver, good faith, unclean hands.
Yes. Now here, in the state level here in Ohio, you can plead these like that, and then you can plead one at the bottom, like any and all statutory or common law defenses that are still listed. But yeah, this is
do
not.
That in federal court in Florida.
What's that?
You cannot do one-line affirmative defenses in Florida in federal court.
Okay.
You cannot. You have
That's
to
local
specifically.
rules. Okay.
Well, no, it's
Federal.
case law of the 11th Circuit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And guys, these are all common law, like illegality, latches, license, payment, release, waiver, good faith, unclean hands. If you guys follow Acer Thorne, his favorite defense, you have to these are you'll have to say why the legality protects it. You know, their claims are you guys were acting illegally, so therefore it's not a claim.
Right.
You know, that there was an issue of license. There was
the defense of illegality is that enforcement of the underlying right
Mhm.
would be illegal.
Yes.
It doesn't
what you're
work here
doing
at
was
all.
illegal. Yes, their arguments. You know, that there was good faith, that there was waiver, that now they don't think all these, but you plead them just to protect yourself and cover your bases.
Right.
But yes, this is apparently you can't do that down there. So don't do that, chat. But yes, here's things though, like you can admit to paragraphs, or you could say they lack sufficient information, either admit or deny the allegations.
Mhm.
And that's actually an acceptable answer.
It is.
That's acceptable.
Right. But them saying that they don't have for some of them, they're saying they don't have information for their own actions.
Yes.
And so that'll be subject to a more definite statement.
Yes. And
That's
then
cool.
chat, this is another way to do a complaint for an admission. You can admit to parts of it and say only to the extent that Cody asked someone to create an image. Now it's easier to say, you can do that partial admission. You can admit only to the extent that the website contains certain pages, not that any pages misattribute anything.
What does he say to 246?
246. He doesn't.
That's wonderful.
He skips a couple of paragraphs, chat.
Paragraphs.
Hold on. We gotta go.
No, that's where go to the complaint, because that's the fun one. That's the fun little one there.
Yeah, so 243, okay. 244 is right there. Here's paragraph 244. 245 is not listed. Then there's this. And that's 246. And he doesn't deny it. And if you don't admit or deny it, it's considered admitted.
Right.
So yes, he does admit to the racism.
The racism.
Yes. Although, yes, he does admit that he did ask the guy to make the image. He does ask to admit that he created the image. So It's hard not to say, it's like, well, that's not what I told him to do. But yes, there are,
He
lacking
skipped a
sufficient.
shitload of them.
Yeah, like there's entire. Well, hold on here. We got to go through. Hold on here. From 222 to 237. That's a lot of, and it's one thing where you don't have to admit to when you're reincorporating complaint like allegations.
Right.
You don't have to. You could skip that because I don't what it doesn't matter.
Well, but the funny thing is he reincorporates his things there. So like that's not the
but I'm just saying that's too many to miss. Hold on here. What did you 222 to 237? Okay. So here is
he just ignores a bunch of them.
Yeah, the business entities were at all times materials in the matter of functioning alter egos. He's admitting that. The defendants knew the infringed works belonged to plaintiff and they did not have permission to exploit the plaintiff's works. Cody Wilson just fucking admitted to that because he doesn't deny it, chat. Look, it's not here. There's no 224. There is no 224 here. And you know what? We'll do one better. 224.
Yep.
We'll look for it. Where's 224 here? 2 matches. His own paragraph 224. Okay. But that's not the one we're talking about. The next one. Where's the next 224?
It was on the top
right
of the page.
there, the page ID. That's a big problem. That's a big fucking problem. Oh my God, there you go. He admits a copyright infringement. There you go, Matt. Ta-da!
It's so stupid. But anyway, so yeah, last up now, let's look at From the Horse's Mouth.
Yes. But chat, this is literally the defendant's sued the infringed work belonged to the plaintiff and they need a permission. Cody Wilson acknowledged and mocked the federal copyright registrations. That Cody went to delete copyright notices from visual artworks. The defendants knew their actions constituted copyright infringement. The defendants' actions were willful within the meaning of the Copyright Infringement Act. As a result of the wrongful conduct, you suffered losses and harm to your goodwill and reputation. Remember, all these have not been addressed, chat. He is literally going through here and saying, correct, 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 correct. He's not going through and saying that's not true. He just said, yep, this is true. This is true. He literally said these are all true because they are not listed here. Holy shit. Wow.
It's really fucking brain dead.
I mean, is it bad that we brought this up right now? I didn't realize that before because I didn't bother to flip through these because I kind of skipped to the end.
Right.
Should we have really just brought this up or should we have done that privately?
Well, no, because look, that's the type of thing that
he'll get a chance to amend.
Courts let you amend, right?
Yeah.
And that's playing fair, right?
Yeah, well,
right now
maybe they're really admitting it though. They're that stupid.
I don't know, but like let's just look at that last one then. The blog he posted, I linked to you on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cody posted a blog, and I agree. The
court where he posts his counterclaims and asks. And so this is what I told you. He thinks he's good at wordplay.
Okay.
But then the bottom where he says the Gospel of Matthew and John, I'm very frustrated because that was actually very good.
Okay.
That's actually because he's saying it's all me and Ivan.
Yes.
And that's a pretty damn good piece of wordplay. Just that title. The rest of it is dog shit. But
okay.
The Gospel of Matthew and John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. That's pretty damn good.
Yes. So here, anyways. Well, and it's funny because you do have John as well. There's a John here too. But yes, you two are in charge.
We got 2 Johns.
Yes. But there are many ways to characterize the internal division of the 3D Second Amendment movement. Yesterday, I spoke of the ontologicalization and how the community chose to cope with federal and state controls. As they began to accumulate indictable felonies, the catalog's means simply became its ends. Disavowal of the law, of property, of anarchy, and even of the open source software. Isn't that what you're all about, though?
Mm-hmm.
The grift became an intentional scam, which became an organized racket, which became a thirst for annihilation. This sounds like something fucking Nick Recato wrote. Over the last 3 years, we've been accused of fraud on the public. Turns out the catalog was advertising its own bad conscience. Whether this bad conscience was pawned off as based socialism or social anarchism, it was always a scam and it was always gun control. Okay. The Fuddbusters' internal reigning of the 3D2A politics led to a dual game and reversible positions. Decentralized meant bureaucracy. Gunsmith was a term of instrumental discourse, borrowed from managers and white-collar engineers. Because he's not any of that. He's outside that. License meant protecting the creator instead of protecting the file. This tactical ambiguity allowed profile neurotics to make common cause with the typical young Republican whose only intellectual property is his violent self-pity. Who is he referring to there?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay. And DEFCAD paid for it. The only good news is open source software will survive the catalog. Yes, it's going to survive a place that gives it away for free. The bad news is 3D2A suffers from a psychological, not a political problem. And yes, the Gospel of Matthew and John, that is actually very... Well played. Well played.
Yeah.
A common enemy supports a common identity. The catalog's anxious retreat to status metaphysics. Cody, I remember like when I took philosophy as well in college as a freshman. Like, I get it.
But read the next statement there. It is the most cringe-inducing fucking thing I've ever read in my life.
We're gonna go on here. It solidified my image as 3D2A's primal father. A too powerful and capricious other bound. This is fucking Nick Recato 100%. Nick was commissioned to write this. Beyond the ambit of law and with access to unlimited enjoyment. This is a standard Freudian myth of social formation. We must castrate the unlimited other to survive.
What the fuck is he talking about?
What? I don't...
Solidified my image as 3D2A's primal father, a too powerful and capricious other beyond the ambit of law and with access to unlimited enjoyment.
I mean, is he admitting he's capricious, or is he just saying that's the image of him as being capricious? Because that's not exactly...
It's unclear.
That's not exactly something I'd brag about.
Yeah.
I'm hold on. Seriously, fuck.
And so the magical solution of copyright at the final hour, we are saved by the constitution of the belief that maybe IP is real.
The Constitution
maybe we too can possess it.
Wait, your whole black flag and white dildos is all about rejecting IP.
No, that's it. So I think what he's doing there is suggesting that it's very hard, right? And you know, my mom was a head shrinker, and she always told me, don't spend too much time trying to, you know, put yourself into the shoes of a crazy person and trying to rationalize them, or else you'll catch it, right? But I think what he's doing there is suggesting that this is our view. So his implication is that, well, his implication is that intellectual property is not real, which I think the federal court in Florida will be very entertained by.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, if I were the judge looking at this case and I saw a simple copyright action, right?
Yeah.
Where all of the elements are very plainly alleged, you know, striking similarity.
Yeah.
Right. Unauthorized copying, striking similarity. And then you see all this shit. It's like, dude, this is a Wendy's. You know?
Yeah, I'm just... Okay,
but so then he says, as companion to my Black Flag white paper, which will soon get the serious reading it deserves, today I publish a critique of this gospel. It's full of cool lore drops, like finally revealing who killed Jay Stark, and it will properly live as an evergreen resource for specialists, though it borders on the philosophical in the sense that the original philosophical question is a critique of religion. I'd rather you see it as a bill of indictment, or rather an epilogue. And then he just posts the counterclaim, which is just So this is what
That's
suggests
his
to me that
critique.
he wrote it, you know?
Yeah, this is the critique. The
Right.
critique of this is a legal document, which
A hilariously poorly drafted shotgun pleading.
yeah, where you fucking Cody, you missed a bunch of fucking shit, homie. I know you're probably gonna watch this at some point. But
I'm
the
sure
fat
he
man
is.
the fat man's telling you. But seriously though, you know, you go through all of this and you know, being some sort of uber anarchist, your coup de grace to this movement is a legal document. That just seems so weird for some uber libertarian guy. Like living out in the woods. I mean, like you
A
sound like
legal document where you like take great pleasure in a man being arrested for, you know, things that you purport to be,
yeah, literally
you know,
squeezing out plastic goo.
yeah. It's I don't expect that I did anything to hurt him. You know, and I'm somebody who's a pretty high self-monitor. I don't expect that I've ever hurt this man. I simply didn't want him to sell my work.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
didn't want him to hurt you.
Yes,
And your work.
I mean it's pretty simple. But his black flag white paper, I've read it and it's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it basically stands for the proposition that IP doesn't exist. Which from a philosophical perspective you can argue with all day. But from a legal perspective, you can't.
You're on the wrong continent for saying there's no IP. Go to Asia.
Ni hao.
If you guys don't understand that Asians intellectual property is not a concept traditionally in most Asian cultures.
Yeah, it is. It's just like hilariously different from ours.
Yeah, it's
Like-
not like we have it, and compared to us, it's almost like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That way. But this is just like this last part here, this last sentence. It sounds like something fucking he's trying to sound like Ted Kaczynski.
He really reckons that he is very, very smart.
Yes, 100 years from now, people will read this. People,
I don't expect that will be true. I expect that
no.
this is a simple copyright case.
Yeah,
And you took my shit, and I told you to stop, and you didn't. And so you will have to pay for that, and that's okay. You know?
yes, and then you can, and his stock of Ghost Gunners you'll be able to sell with 10% off the promo code POCRIM.
I could never. I would never associate your name with that product. And it's just like that's when I first got my hands on one to check it out, I was excited. It's just not very good. You know, that's my takeaway from that product. It's just not very good.
But no, I'm gonna have to read this thing at some point. Then I guess his Black Flag white paper.
It's also interesting because in his Black Flag white paper, which he wrote a long time ago, that's where he first indicates that he knew Celentano's real identity.
Oh, really?
Yes. So Celentano was actually a concert trombonist, and nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. I didn't know that. But by this time, and this is just my rear view mirror estimation, right?
Mm-hmm.
By this time, it appeared that he had already hired a PI to figure out who this guy was. And so in Black Flag white paper, he has a image of a trombone player, and then there's like a footnote that says, "Oh, as for why it's a trombone player, don't worry about it."
That's some ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to understand who this young Republican, like, because he's saying that, and I want to know who this young Republican is.
I don't know if he's talking about me or Ivan. He does a great deal of projection whenever he writes about us.
Yeah,
and it's really odd.
Well, to be fair, you don't come across to me as a young Republican, and neither does Ivan.
Yeah, because neither of us are.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's
but that's why I think it's projection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
and also the whole like invocation of religion thing. I think like I feel like that's a bizarre jab. Because I'm very publicly, Baptist. And so I think he's just throwing that in for reasons.
I guess.
But it's this thing where like I read this stuff and I don't like get mad. I just
more
really
confused than mad.
I feel sorry for him. Because like it's clear that he's not feeling okay. Right?
Yeah, he's very upset.
he's aggrieved. As we said in the response to the bar complaint. Yeah. And I do legitimately it makes me sad that he's aggrieved. I do wish that he never
I wish you weren't this fucking angry, buddy.
I wish he never stole my shit. I wish when I asked him to take it down that he did. But now here we are. And he's not gonna this stupid ass strike suit is not going to scare me. It's just not.
No, this is gonna fucking crash and burn. And Benito, you're saying unless your name's Nintendo, yes, the Japanese corporations, yes, but in the traditional cultural, foundations.
Well, and also in their own country as well.
Well, yeah, in their own country, yes, but yeah, as a cultural foundation, like traditional Asian culture, yes, a lot of it's been westernized, but the traditional foundations, IP was an entirely different thing. We're not talking about Nick, although we could be talking about Nick.
It's not always about Nick, guys.
No, but a lot of it could circle back, but no. Yeah, I'm just Cody made a big mistake. You don't hire an attorney that's like you. That's always that's never a good idea. Hire an attorney who's different from you. You need somebody who's going to check you. And that's a big problem. And I feel like because Gingras is a loon and Cody's being a loon, that doesn't end well. That doesn't mean if you're a sane person, hire a lunatic attorney, but you want to hire somebody who's a different temperament than you.
Right.
That's you're like, oh, I feel like he's just like me. It's like, that's not necessarily what you want. You want somebody who will push back and thinks differently and feels differently. This is just... Wow, that was...
Yeah, like reading his blog post puts like a weird psychological spin on this thing, right? And it's kind of revealing. Yeah.
Like the castration of the elder, it's like... Yeah.
What else is really funny?
Yeah. Oh, Johnny sent me there's apparently proof of the IP address being in Iran. That's funny. This is here. Let's bring that other thing back up.
You know what's funny? In his previous blog post where he talks about how one of the lawyers who's signed on to this counterclaim is arguing at the Third Circuit saying that these files are not ready for insertion. Right.
Yeah, because right below that he had something in the Third Circuit.
Yeah.
So let's see here. What's this IP address? So this is the Azdagan Boulevard in Tehran. Wow. That's a bit of an oopsie poopsie. I don't know about that, guys. I don't know about that. That's something Johnny's apparently bringing up. Like, oof. Not a good idea. Not a good idea, chat, to be doing that. But there's a link. It's the range, and there's a link that opens DEFCAD. Interesting. Check its ports for fun. Will I call the number and ask for them? Yeah. Can I speak to Cody? Brewberries, yes, Matt does know the lore about Gingras. He does know some of it.
Yeah.
Oh. It's so weird watching that. And
It's strange. I would never sign a document like that.
no.
But then he had 3 attorneys sign that, and that is shocking. You know,
It is. I mean, like they must, and the thing is, the guys who were defending Alex Jones, like all those attorneys did a really good fucking job. They just got fucked over by the system. Like the courts fucked them on it.
right?
But like he had decent attorneys, so yeah, it is weird that they're just signing. Like they're just like, yeah, whatever, and signing on. I guess I don't know. It just seems so weird. Like, what do they think they're going to get out of like their cut of the fees? It's like that just seems so. I mean, any decent attorney knows Rico's never the fucking answer.
It's weird. It's
going to get a
weird.
whole lot weirder. It seems like.
Do you reckon? So like you get a couple bites at the apple with this, and I feel like the intention is to. I feel like their intention is to just drag this out and make it more annoying.
Oh, I think it is too.
Yeah, but it's not concerning to me, right? It's really not that hard. So
that's the thing. Like you guys are, you're just gonna sit here and laugh, like okay, and then okay, back to my suit. Like let's do this.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's certainly weird, but we'll see what happens next. Anything can happen in any court, right? They could let that complaint go through. It's possible.
They could, yeah.
So
and even then, it's still defeatable. It's a massive problem. Then
no, I did not find my stolen house.
Your stolen house.
I did. I've. It was on this show. I told them about my stolen house.
Yes, your stolen house. Yes.
No,
you never found it. Well. Apparently Gingras is not above calling the cops on a subpoenaed witness.
Yeah, that was another thing that subjected him to a new bar complaint.
Yes. Johnny says that was a fun read, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, well, Matt, thanks for being here. I'm going to read some of these super chats if you want to take off. I know it's getting late and you got doggos and stuff to take care of. So
yeah. All right, bro. No, thanks for having me on, man. It was good hanging out, and all of you guys, thanks for supporting Sean.
Yeah, and guys, support Matt, guys, maf-arms.com.
Yeah, do that or join the Fuddbusters Discord.
Yes.
It's on the Patreon. It's a fun time. It is a PvP zone. Do not expect to be coddled. You will be bullied.
Just a bit. Just bullied a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, on Patreon. See you guys. Thanks, Matt.
Hi, guys.
So, all right. So, yes. Bye, Matt. Clyde can't tell time. Yes, he cannot. So, let's get to some of these super chats, guys. We got to get to this a little bit here. Milo Christensen says, Gingras's poor blog never knew what hit it. Yeah. Well, he doesn't know about the elite hackers known as 4chan. Amateur Iconoclast gifted 5 subs. Starting the night off, chat. He did. Drop those. Then Palmyra Productions dropped 5 more. Thank you both, guys. I appreciate the support and the generosity out there. Jefferson Post says, sounds like Cody skipped proper A-log training. Yeah, it does a little bit. Like he should have spent some time in the sector. Learns the basics, learn the principles. Base Shaman says, finally some lolcow content. Don't resist it, Sean, with the Politicuck streams. Lolcow drama streams is your destiny. Funded by Kiwi. Thank you. There's something wrong with the politics shit. I kind of like the politics stuff at times. And other people seem to enjoy it. Stop Moss B says Matt should hire a certain Minnesota lawyer. I heard he's very pro 2A. No, why would you do that to Matt? Matt's a nice guy. Oh. Lauren was here in chat earlier. And guys, she has her channel here on YouTube. I showed you guys the link to earlier. Cody's lawyer started YouTube. He struck my channel, is going to sue me for up to $150K for copyright on my fair use of his non-monetized video. I swear to God, this is real. Sounds like it might be funny to look at, Lauren. Thank you. And good luck. Hopefully he just is a retard and leaves you alone. Stop Moss B says Cody's sitting in an 18-inch barrel and a shotgun, but it looks undeniably 16-inch to me. Oh, yeah. You don't want a 16-inch shotgun barrel, chat. That's not a good thing. Never a good idea. Stephen Cooper says Rico is like lupus. It's never lupus. And that's true. It's never the answer. Brewberry says, I think Cody would be better off burning money. Yes. I mean, but at the end of the day, remember, chat, that is what a lawsuit is for the most part. Unless you're taking care of it yourself. You're taking a pile of money and lighting it on fire. And hoping you get a result you like. And Mom's Ravioli for €5 is saying, Medicare masochist for an all-expenses-paid trip to Vegas with blackjack and black hookers. Whoa, buddy. Ashton, help me drill oil here. Suffer, Liana. See, I understand people are making all these, like, that story. It doesn't, like, it's too fucking, like, there's no way that's true. It's written like fan fiction. It's a hilarious story in your mind of like all the allegations of PPP and Worski doing all this shit in Vegas. It's fucking hilarious to think about it. Like I laughed when I imagined it, but there's no way it's real. I cannot imagine that's real. Not at all. Been there, done that says Matt is also a dragon believer. Yes. Cat Lady Ballerina says lawyers make Kool-Aid. How nice. Oh, let's see here. High Plains Drifter says he wants to make a 6.5 Creedmoor AK. God, that would be like a fucking laser gun. That would be pretty epic, though. That'd be pretty cool. RP says all I want for Christmas is for Tor Swats to offer admissible evidence that Patrick paid him for the services. And the allegation there is that Patrick Tomlinson had Tor Swats get him swatted to help him for like notoriety, which is one of the allegations out there. Ellie Fan says chat requests Clyde's proof of life. Ellie, Clyde is sleeping. He's very eepy. I don't know if he'll come out here. Hold on, let me check. Clyde. Yeah, he's down for the count. I'm not going to go wake him up. He's too sleepy. He deserves to sleep. Oh, wait. Hi, buddy. Hi. You want to come here? Come here, Clyde. He poked his head around the corner. Come here, Bubba. Oh, he's got like bedhead still. He looks so sad. Come here, Clyde. You want some treats? Come here. I'd show you guys right now. You guys would feel so sad for him for just waking him up. But here you go, buddy. Okay, Clyde. Yeah, that one didn't go the right way. There you go, buddy. There you go. Clyde, come on, get that one. That's in play. That's not a foul ball. You can get that one. Yeah, he's going back to bed. Oh no. I need a doggy cam. Yeah, I'll work on that. Oh. Oh no, it's woke Clyde. Yes. Clyde woke up. Come here, Bubba. He's like over there. I see him. But oh God, he wants to go to sleep. I feel so bad. Clyde would make bank if he had a YouTube channel. We might work on that at some point. Buddy, can you come here? Come here. Hold on, chat. Let me see if I'll get him. Come here, Bubba. Come on. I see your tail wagging. Come on. Come here. Come here. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Clyde. Clyde. Come on, bub. Aw, he's gonna lay down. Yeah, never mind. All right. So that's it, chat. I think it's only gonna get funnier from here. Yeah. Clyde would make bank with the doggy Instagram channel where you give free shit to try out. Look, yeah. I'm having a schizophrenic episode talking to nobody. Yeah. Clyde's like, yeah, Clyde does very much look like he wants to be left alone. He is trying to sleep. I think he's gonna lay down. Johnny says, thank you for exposure to this insanity. It's weird getting vexatious litigation and doxing by Cody. So I appreciate having a voice. Cheers. Well, Johnny, thank you, man. I'll see you around. Guys, you could see people like Johnny, Suckboy Tony, and all these other people in Matt's Discord. They all hang out there. So you want to interact and like, wow, people Cody suing. They're there. Or you can come to my Discord, and then when, screenshots of that are made, they make it into the lawsuit, which is hilarious. Oh. Mandy B says, Lando did not do what he had to do. Ooh, that's not good. But yes, thank you, Johnny. Mom's Ravioli says, I turned 30 in 2 days. Am I a boomer now? If you have to ask yourself if you're a boomer, you probably are a boomer. But anyways, happy birthday, man. Congrats. Enjoy. To somebody who's going to turn 40 in a couple of months. 30s are fun. Clyde's only floofs. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he laid down. He's sleeping on the floor, chat. He's like, well, if you made me get up, I'm sleeping here. So, DS says, what the fuck? I'm so confused. What are you confused about? What are you confused about? Never trust anyone under 30. Yeah. Yep. Can't trust the youngins. Nope. Oh, he tried to lay down and rolled over onto something. And he got back up. He's gonna go hide. What's your secret to beard grooming? I shave it once in a while. Like I trim it up. I put like a 2 on and like zzz, and that's it. I don't comb this. I don't do anything to it. Like in the morning, you take a shower, just and then dry it off. That's it. DS saying, Iran, does he actually come back or actually live in the U.S.? Are you making a joke about like Iran? Or are you saying like the server's in Iran? I don't get what you're getting at there. I don't know if you're trying to make a joke or not. I deny being a groomer. Yeah. Beard butter? No. No beard butter. No beard oil. No, my hair just grows out kind of like this. My hair gets kind of wiry. So no, I don't lotion the beard or anything like that. I'd make a great Ayatollah, though, just put a turban on. Yes, I could do that. Well, if I get it, I mean, there were times in college where I got a tan and my hair was growing out and I had the beard going and it was all like predominantly black. Like I looked like I was in the Taliban. So doesn't take much. But anyways, chat, that is it for tonight. It's 3:00. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be talking about oh, you're saying his attorneys have made millions suing Remington and other lawsuits. Sad, but why are they doing what they're doing? Oh, I don't know. Every once in a while, attorneys make shitty decisions. Like you sign on to a case and it turns into a mess. Yeah. Kaz is like a Pashtun, yes. Yep, kind of. So, and that is it for tonight, guys. Remember, we will do the tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, we will do the Las Vegas Grand Prix 1 a.m. Sunday morning. So we'll get to that at some point. Good night to everybody. And guys, remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although I will say this lawsuit is absolute, like, just Cody's lawsuit. This is not good. And I don't know if they could save it. Like, there's just so much garbage in this. You have to, like, basically, you're going to have to rebuild the whole thing. And I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. But yeah, this thing is a disaster. And I know Matt and Johnny and all you guys are going to have to deal with the nonsense, but it will be very entertaining going forward. At least for us. At least for us. So good night, chat, and I will see you guys later. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at? Why, yes it was. He even knows he's fat.